What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 15 SW Chapter 86. The world's richest man Tezzolo? Horn almost was moved and cried. Advertisement, Master Tezzolo. Hearing Tezzolo's words, the girls Bakara and Mr. Tanaka were panicked. Repaying me, I didn't understand. But is revenge serious? Now he has driven the golden ship into North Blue, but the Empire realm. Forbidden ha 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 ha. Golden Lion laughed and sat directly on a chair, looking at the magnificent hall, before looking at Tezzolo with a cold expression. I'll give you a chance to reorganize the language. If not for the current period of weakness. If it hadn't been for the arrival of the fighter plane, Shiki had known the identity of the opponent from Dover, and he was indeed a talent. If not, Shiki would have gone crazy. Dedudu, I remember you were always smart. Doflamingo squinted his eyes and felt the danger through his sunglasses. Although Tezzolo's current golden fruit was not robbed of him, he has never chased and killed Tezzolo. But as a staff member of the Ministry of Finance of the Empire, Dover inevitably dealt with the wealthy in Qinghai. Tezzolo is the rich man Dover has been in contact with frequently over the past 2 years. The world's richest man who was famous in the past 2 years. Minister, the world's richest man has come to North Blue, right on the edge of the calm belt. Dover also sent a message of Lingza to his upper class. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and invite him to scare him. What is the world's richest man in Qinghai is worthy of notification, a small person, and I don't need to report this small matter in the future. From Reiko Communication, Kakuzu's majestic voice was momentarily excited and calm and indifferent. Dover was unable to complain. I obviously want it in my heart, but don't want it on my lips. Minister is really interesting. Up to now, there is nothing to hide. Looking at Dover and Golden Lion, and then at his most trusted subordinates, Tezzolo said in a condensed voice. I was a slave to celestial dragons. What? Girls Bakara and Tanaka's eyes widened. Shiki yawned and had no interest, but was full of interest in this 10-kilometer, 10,000-meter long golden city, and wanted to go around. Dover was a little surprised. He had only met Tezzolo in the past 2 years, and he really didn't know the other party's experience. 7 years ago, I was among the slaves who were brought to Saboti's parade by the celestial dragons. I was accidentally rescued by Ms. Hinata of the Holy Empire and Ms. Robin, which gave me a chance to escape. Recalling 7 years ago, or even 1 or 2 years before, Tezzolo's eyes were full of gratitude and hatred. By chance, I found Jin Jin Guo and developed business with peace of mind. In 3 years, Jin Jin Guo awakened and built the world's largest entertainment city in 5 years. You all know what happened later. I want to join the Holy Empire. The richest man in the world is me Tezzolo, but Tezzolo is not happy. 9 years ago, Tezzolo's beloved woman Stella was bought by celestial dragons, and he became a slave with a roar. 7 years ago was also when Tezzolo was most sad when he learned about Stella's death. If he had money at the time, he could buy Stella in advance to avoid tragedy, so he became obsessed with money. It's boiling over, avenging the Empire, revenge on the celestial dragons, right? Doflamingo opened his hand and walked towards Tezzolo. The Empire welcomes you to join. But I have one thing to remind you. Thinking of what? Dover continued. If you become a civilian, you won't have a chance to kill celestial dragons yourself. You have to join the Imperial government. Tezzolo nodded. Of course he knew this. With so many Imperial soldiers, it was his turn to kill. My strength is also good, and I can join the Imperial army. No, you are not suitable for the Imperial army. You are suitable for the Imperial treasury, working hard for the economic development of the Empire. Dover also has his own careful thinking. If he ordered on a regular basis, it would be difficult for him to be in the Ministry of Finance of the Empire. There are too many talents. It is Dover's credit to bring business talents like Tezzolo into the Ministry of Finance. But this is not enough. Dover's voice was like a devil, inducing Tezzolo. Since you joined the Empire, what do you want so much money for? Just donate it. The Minister of Finance Kakuzu will take you seriously. Puff. The Golden Lion drinking tea couldn't help spraying, and looked at Dover with contempt. This guy does it for credit. There is no lower limit. He had heard from Dover before. How much money does Tezzolo have? The Golden Emperor who uses money to dominate the Dark World has power throughout the world. There is also his property in the Empire, own 20% of the world's wealth. This is Tezzolo's achievement in just 7 years. Although 20% is a bit exaggerated, it shows that Tezzolo is super rich. Not to mention other properties, there are at least 500 billion berry in cash. Golden Lion remembered Dover's words. This is a number enough to make countless pirates crazy, and can kill countless people with money. Master Tezzolo, the girl Bakara couldn't help but glare at Dover. He felt that the other party was a devil. Want to cheat all your money in one sentence? Do you really think Lord Tezzolo is an idiot? Child, you don't understand. Looking at the girl Bakara, Doflamingo laughed. There is a lot of boiling water. Compared to standing firm in the Empire, the so-called wealth is not worth mentioning. You are the kid. Bakara retorted that she was already 15 years old and smart. Well, that's right. Shocked by Mr. Bakara and Tanaka, Tezzolo said bluntly. I thought about it before I came, and dedicated all the wealth and industry, and even this golden city, to the Empire. I just want revenge. Seeing Dover's weird expression, Tezzolo understood it very well. Don't worry, I will tell the Minister Kakuzu that it was you who persuaded me to dedicate it. Please take care of it in the future. Do. Dover laughed. The more he looked at Tezzolo, the more pleasing he was. The others' high EQ and IQ were simply too comfortable. Advertisement talking to smart people is easy, you don't feel bad at all? Golden Lion was surprised by Tezzolo's words, it was able to buy a lot of the wealth of Qinghai Realm Kingdom. 500 billion in cash. The value of that industry is more than trillions. Why do you feel bad? I can make so much money in 7 years, and I will only make more money in the future. Tezzolorizo spoke of course, feeling that the words were not sharp enough, and said seriously, I have never touched berry, I have no interest in berry. Asterisk hash. The girl Barkara also nodded earnestly. Master Tezzolo hasn't touched him in these years. All berry is carried by his subordinates. Tezzolo. The sky only touches gold. Enough of you guys. Shiki and Dover had an impulse to beat Tezzolo up. The Golden Emperor Tezzolo. There was a calm voice in the distance. Kakuzu came very much like hockey. Dover and Shiki saluted immediately when they saw it. Hello, Minister. You have worked hard. After taking a look at Dover and Shiki, Kakuzu secretly wrote Vice Admiral on the notebook. It's the credit. Especially Dover performed well. Who is this? It should be the top of the empire. Tezzolo also put away his pressure and tidied his clothes. Feeling the aura of Kakuzu, who is different from those of the nobles and royal families, Tezzolo's heart is a little nervous. It is true that the empire is too domineering, and Tezzolo can't figure out Kakuzu's thoughts. Dover immediately stepped forward and said, this is what I told you, the Minister of Finance of the Empire, Lord Kakuzu. As he said, Dover kept winking at Tezzolo. Be honest, don't make trouble. Don't look at Tezzolo's polite and sincere look just now, but Dover knew that the other party was also very arrogant. According to Dover's understanding, Tezzolo is a guy who arrogantly shouts, I want to be the god of this world, nothing can be bought without money, and people without money can't do anything. It's arrogant than me. This is what Dover said after getting to know it last year. It was crazy. It turns out to be Lord Kakuzu. I have long heard that you are one of the pillars of the empire, and you are often appreciated by the great holy emperor. Suddenly, Tezzolo seemed to have seen an idol, shouting with excitement, his face flushed. You are the right arm of the great holy empire emperor, can you sign me? Oh my god. So shameless. Shiki and Dover said that they had seen them a lot, and that this guy definitely played in the officialdom of the empire. Tezzolo is absolutely personal. Master Tezzolo. Bakura and Tanaka were also dumbfounded. You have never been so polite to celestial dragons who came to the Golden City. No, how can celestial dragons compare with the empire's high-level scum? Yes, really good. Kakuzu smiled, and inexplicably thought Tezzolo was pleasing to the eye. Young man, your ability is good, I am optimistic about you. Kakuzu won't get fluttered because of a few flattering flatters. He sees a lot of flattering flatters, and he is immune to it for a long time. But Tezzolo can turn from a worthless slave to the world's richest man, a genius in just 7 years. 130 The Ministry of Finance needs Tezzolo, the world's top business talent. Are you going to dedicate your property? Without waiting for Tezzolo to speak, Kakuzu casually changed the subject. Tezzolo earnestly said, Yes, my lord, the cash is 530 billion berry, all kinds of famous knives, fruits, jewelry, etc., as well as all the industries in the world and all over the Golden City, are dedicated to the empire. I am willing to work for the empire. When a low-level person who works hard and only wants to attack Marijoy, he can let me join in and take revenge myself. Talent. What is this not talent? No matter what Tezzolo's purpose is, Kakuzu is satisfied with Tezzolo's attitude if no one can be without desire. Today, learn the rules of the empire with Zhao Ming. Tomorrow you will follow him to report to the Ministry of Finance. Kakuzu said, slightly different, because of Tezzolo's manual. Under the pressure of everyone, Tezzolo took off a piece of hair from Kakuzu's shoulder and said in pain. Sorry, Lord Kakuzu, I'm rude. Look, you have lost your hair. You can imagine how much effort you put into the empire. You have worked hard. During the words, Tezzolo carefully held his hair in his hand, with moving tears in his eyes. Please allow me to save this hair, it will inspire me, guide me, and follow in the footsteps of you in the empire. I served it. Shiki and Dover were eye-opening, just one hair. Except for bald heads, whoever doesn't lose dozens or hundreds of hairs every day. This broken road can also be flattering? Report today. Kakuzu almost got to tears. Is this flattering? No, this is true. Tezzolo made a mistake and told the truth that touched Kakuzu. Because he really put too much effort into the economic development of the empire, and even developed a secret technique that does not require sleep for this, and did his best. Kakuzu murmured full of feelings. Your Majesty, I seem to have found a confidant, he will be my right arm. Lan Yu. Come on. Mr. Minister, respected and loved by the people of the empire. You've worked hard. Chapter 87. Release Impel Down All the Pirates. Pluton design drawing is ready. Advertisement with Tezzolo joining the empire. The situation in the first half of the Grand Line became more serious, and at this time the 2-5 elders noticed something wrong. Beast's Pirates is out of touch. How did the bald head and the long beard contact Wano-kuni and there was no response, and many CP reports were heard. It is said that a certain dragon is flying wildly in New World, and it seems to be running away. This caused the two of them to sink in their hearts. Wano-kuni is surrounded by cliffs and waterfalls, so far no CP and marine spies have entered. Send Marine to release all the pirates of Impel Down and mess up. Bald 5 elders said harshly. This, 5 elders with a long beard changed, and then nodded. a good way. This can be regarded as wise. As we know so far, the main purpose of the Empire is to fight steadily in the first half of the attack on the Grand Line. And Impel Down is in the Calm Belt in the first half, not far from naval headquarters. When they are all released, they have nowhere to go. They can only resist the Empire force in the first half of the Grand Line. The more I said it, the more Bald Five Elders felt that he was extremely witty. That's Impel Down. From the first floor to the bottom, Eternal Hell is almost full of arrogant and crazy pirates. Empire has emerged in recent years. The poor information will even cause the big pirates within it to ignore the Empire. The main thing. There are many top powerhouses in it. No matter how much trouble it is, it will affect the progress of the Empire. This is the best strategy at the moment. The Longbeard sighed, then his face turned blue and said, the big pirates of New World are stupid than the other. Speaking of the pirates of New World, the Bald Five Elders is also very angry. What time is it? The pirates haven't seen reality clearly. Contacted Whitebeard and hung up with a swear word. Contact the Ant, sneer for a long time, and said to consider it. Contacting other big pirates is even more intrigue, bargaining or ignoring. Stupid. Idiot. B*ch. The long-bearded Five Elders scolded again and again angrily. A pirate is a pirate. Few people who have read books only know that they are guarding the small broken place in New World, and they really regard themselves as the overlord of the world, said the Bald Five Elders with disdain. The size of New World is a small corner compared to the whole world. So many big pirates. No one can understand. The first half of the fall, New World must fall. Kata Curry. Mom only likes to eat and exercise, I don't listen. Scarred. Dad didn't listen either, and Teach was drinking silently all day after he left. Leave them alone, send Marine to liberate Impel Down, and speed up our plan is important. That's right, it must be accelerated, after Sengoku received the order. All the generals were in an uproar, and there was only one thought in their minds. World government is crazy. No, I object. Zephyr was the first to disagree, with bruises on his face, full of anger. Don't the people above know that more than 90% of Impel Down are extremely evil people? Many of them were arrested for wantonly destroying the kingdom and killing civilians. Zephyr was about to explode, with deep disappointment in his eyes. Regarding the Holy Empire, many generals have rarely expressed their opinions. Although there are miscellaneous bits and pieces in Marine, it is because the forest is big and there are all kinds of birds, but most of them are righteous people, and they all want world peace and common people's happiness. The Empire's policy against civilians and pirates has made many Marine generals secretly admire. Marine and the Empire are not a battle between justice and evil, but a battle between camps. Many generals see clearly, so they are not very active in their strategy against the Empire. But Impel Down is different. Allah, it's really a headache. Looking at the expressionless Sengoku, Aokiji couldn't help but scratch his hair. Such a strategy will slow down the progress of the Empire, but there are too many hidden dangers. When the Impel Down pirate came out excitedly, and understood that there was no way to retreat, it could only resist the Empire but couldn't stop it, what should I do? Before destruction, absolutely crazy. God knows how many innocent people will die in the hands of those crazy pirates who have been imprisoned for a long time. This is an order. Sengoku has always abided by his responsibilities, whether right or wrong, he must follow the arrangements above. If he does not obey the order, other people will not obey the order even more and just mess up. Even if we don't release it, the CPO will go there. Do you still want to stop it? Sengoku said. His heart was also angry, but after he couldn't refuse, he sent Admiral to block CP0, which would only make it messier. Damn it. Zephyr smashed the chair severely and stood up, saying indifferently, Sengoku, I can understand your embarrassment, but I can't accept it. Zephyr left after speaking. Sengoku shouted. What are you going to do? The world is messed up enough, don't do some stupid things. I'm going to rest. Zephyr's expression changed, and he left the office with a cold snort. The generals face each other. Teacher Zephyr. Quote. Kizaru retracted his gaze and murmured, and continued to cut his nails casually. This mission will be. Sengoku looked at Kizaru, who was stubborn, and looked at the other side. Aokiji, you go, don't talk too much nonsense with those pirates. $7 Aokiji was extremely reluctant in his heart. Advertisement, but the military order is like a mountain. Sengoku has to obey it, he has to obey it even more. I became a demon after all. Aokiji smiled bitterly when he got up, he suddenly envied Akainu a little. Although Akainu fell in South Blue, the life card showed that the opponent was not dead and became more complete, possibly sleeping in a prison. Qingshong wants to go to Imperial Jail with Akainu. After all, it is too sinful to release Impel Down. At the same time, inside the Imperial Academy, Orochimaru, are you robbing people? Tsunade clenched his fists and looked at Orochimaru a little uncomfortably. Avoid arrogance and rashness, and keep calm. Orochimaru spoke calmly while dissecting Blackbeard Teach, one of the 4 emperors of the original trajectory. Oh. Teach kept roaring on the operating table, eyes full of deep fear and despair. Devil. This guy with gold glasses is a complete devil. He didn't give him an anesthetic needle at all, and Teach watched as he was sliced. He wanted to die, but couldn't. A living subject is far more valuable than a dead subject, right, Ronaldinho? Listening to Orochimaru's words, Luo couldn't help but wiped his cold sweat, and coughed lightly. Master Orochimaru is right. I will try my best to make sure that he will not die. Op fruit still gave Luo, because there is only Luo among the holy soldiers who are interested in fruits and know how to heal. Luo promised that Teach will not die, Orochimaru promised that Teach's soul will not die, just like this abruptly dissecting it. Don't change the subject. Luo is designated by me to be trained by the holy soldiers, and he will join the medical school in the future. Why did you suddenly come to your Academy of Sciences? You are addicted to robbing people, right? Tsunade felt that Luo's op fruit should be carried forward in the medical school instead of being an intern in the Academy of Sciences. I prepared and apologized for you. Orochimaru was still smiling. He didn't think that a Luo who hadn't grown up was worth a trip to Tsunade. I definitely want the medical school to trade something with medical value from the Academy of Sciences. Bring it. Tsunade looked forward slightly, who said that with the high-speed regeneration technique pioneered by His Majesty, the medical school is not important. In Tsunade's eyes, the medical school is very important. The high-speed regeneration technique that can recover from death, after all, only a few people can learn, but the Empire is mostly civilians. The Empire is civilian-oriented. Flap. Orochimaru tapped his hand. Yakushi Kabuto came with a box with a chuckle and said, Master Tsunade, there are some fruits in it. I hope you are satisfied. Healing fruits, cell fruits, and one of 5 elders' refusal fruits, as well as 8 fruits that can be used in medical treatment, are very good. Tsunade didn't speak or answer, so he stood still holding his arms. Seeing this, Orochimaru said that he understands that it is nothing more than enough. Bring them here. In Tsunade's side, several staff members came with a group of people. The head is an old man in fancy dress, and next to him is an old lady who is legendary and fashionable, with a little pet in his arms. Crocus, the top doctor of the Upside-Down Mountain Gemini, in his 60s. Dr. Kaleha, the top doctor of Magnetic Drum Island, a major medical country, is over 100 years old. Seeing Tsunade's eyes lit up, Orochimaru pointed to the animal in Dr. Kaleha's arms again. Chopper, a reindeer that eats everyone's fruit, has a good medical talent. The people behind are all elite doctors from major medical countries. How? Okay. Tsunade is still very satisfied. The Academy of Sciences did not come in vain. It's just that I'm a little grumpy. Orochimaru has already been here waiting for her to come. Yahahaha, Lord Orochimaru, I'm back. Enel laughed outside the door, but when he came in, he was taken aback and hurriedly saluted. I have seen Master Tsunade. Tsunade nodded slightly, and Orochimaru looked behind Enel. I asked you to find the drawings. Well done. What are you doing after catching so many people? Hash. Enel looked back once and looked at Yakushi Kabuto, asking for help. No need to speak for him, I know. Orochimaru saw through Enel's careful thoughts at a glance, but just wanted to find a few younger brothers. In the future, look for someone with high quality, don't look for everyone. Glancing at the few people, Orochimaru didn't care. Bring the drawings. Yes, my lord. Enel passed the drawing. Pluton design on Frankie, the capital of the Seven Waters. For Pluton, Orochimaru was not interested, just looking for inspiration from the design drawings. Well done. Looking at the drawing, Orochimaru found that the ancient text on it had been translated. Enel must have gone to find Robin or the historian Jenny halfway, and came back after a good translation. Very good at doing things. Seeing, no, Master Orochimaru is not very satisfied with you. I will redouble my practice in the future. Enel turned around to show his elder brother's majesty, and he finally had a younger brother as a father. One of them made Enel extremely satisfied. Known as the strongest CP9 in 800 years, he has good talent. Rob Lucci. Enel wiped out all the CP9s in the City of Seven Waters and collected all of them as his subordinates. At the same time, inside the North Blue Empire Conference Hall. Shiki, see His Majesty the Emperor of the Holy Empire. Chapter 88. Kaguya Hancock sets off, Zooming Rayleigh Akainu Siege Chingshong. Advertisement, there is a task for you. Looking at the coming Golden Lion Shiki, Lan Yu went straight to the subject. Task. Shiki suppressed the excitement of seeing Lan Yu for the first time in his heart, with a wry smile on his face. Your Majesty, my strength. Shiki was a little worried. He is in a period of weakness and can now deal with the little pirate. What if he messes up the task? Let you come is to restore you. Lan Yu asked Shiki to come to see him, just to restore Shiki's period of weakness, and only he can recover. Thank your Majesty. Shiki was pleasantly surprised. During the period of weakness, he did not regret it. After all, he experienced an invincible force that pushed Qinghai realm horizontally before being weak. If it weren't for Lan Yu's sudden arrival at North Blue, he would have gone to New World and rubbed Whitebeard and others on the ground. This is your task. The regular task book flew from Lan Yu's hand to Shiki's hand. Shiki didn't look in a hurry, suppressed his curiosity, and bowed his head again to show respect. Don't run around after recovery, no, Lan Yu gave a reminder as a brilliance bloomed in his hand. Your Majesty, I must abide by the rules of the Imperial troops. I won't run around without an order. Feeling the power to recover, Shiki was awakened by Lan Yu's words. He just started to fantasize about it, and after he recovered, he went to New World to have a good time. After this mission, you will be promoted to be the captain of the 10th Squadron of the Holy Soldiers. Shiki's contribution is not small, and his strength is also strong. For 7 years, he has been dedicated to teaching many people. Conqueror's Haki and Lan Yu are all in sight. And Yagura, the 10th captain, has already submitted an application to go to the council where the ministers are to receive training, and then go to Wuzhou in the Ninja Empire to become governor. The Holy Army was originally a place to train talents for the three imperial armies and officials from all over the world. Guard officials everywhere must have strength. But what makes Lan Yu amusing is that the Golden Lion Shiki has a tangled look. Your Majesty, I still want to be the team leader. Nothing. Lan Yu doesn't know what to say. 133 is so good. Shiki is the most unmotivated saint he has ever seen, always thinking about mixing at the bottom. The captain is relaxed, Shiki muttered inwardly. He doesn't think he can manage the 1,000-man brigade well. Everyone is the future empire pillar. The main thing. Most of the team leader's subordinates are a new generation, very young, and there are many children. Education should start at an early age. This sentence is too true. Shiki wants to carry forward the great hobby of dancing in his team. Let the new generation love dancing. Although the team leader has only 10 holy soldiers, they change every few years. After thousands of years, the empire will have many more empire pillars who love to dance. How great. Without listening to what he said, and observing nothing, Lan Yu directly understood Golden Lion's careful thoughts. You are such a talent. Lan Yu opened the mouth and said, Shiki, your strength has recovered, now go to perform the task. Yes, Your Majesty. After seeing Lan Yu, Shiki walked a lot more vigorously. After walking out of the hall, he immediately opened the task book and laughed after a glance. Forbidden, ha 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 ha, I like this task, and we haven't seen each other for a long time. Inside the hall, Lan Yu looked at the sky of Beijing with some surprise. Two women sitting on a white cloud were flying towards other sea areas. The two of them actually got together. On the white cloud is Otsutsuki Kagaya, who just returned from a certain life planet in the universe where the Empire Ninja is located last night. The other is Boa Hancock, who rested after a good night with Lan Yu. Lan Yu listened. On the white cloud, Hancock sat on the edge and kept looking at the direction of the hall where Lan Yu was. With his hands supporting his chin, his cheeks were blushing and muttered. It's been a few days since you have left, Your Majesty. My concubine is so sad. Don't follow me if you're sad. Kagaya looked at the book without raising the head, and felt a little depressed. She had only been away for a few years, and when she came back, she saw the so-called daughter of the island empress lying there in the palace of Her Majesty. It does not matter. The important thing is that this 19-year-old girl even claimed to be a concubine. In the Empire, only a concubine can claim to be a concubine, do you understand? Kagaya said, seeing Hancock, who was completely immersed in his fantasy world, and he snorted, Nantho. Hancock really didn't hear it. I was full of good experiences with Lan Yu, and I made up my mind. Your Majesty doesn't like vases. The concubine body can't always stick to Your Majesty, and the concubine body has to work hard. After meeting Kagaya in Lan Yu's bedroom, Hancock also knew what the other party was going to do the next day, and immediately chose to keep up. Are you looking for a new generation of talents all over the world to train? Concubine is also fine. Pulling his consciousness back from the fantasy, Hancock said earnestly, Sister Kagaya, let me give it to my concubine in a while. A wave of conquerors, a wave of Ryotsu. Only those who have not fallen are qualified to be cultivated. You are wrong. Kagaya denied Hancock's words and said casually, they are all human beings, as long as it is not a question of character, they are all qualified to be cultivated. This kind of thinking. Hancock was puzzled. Then how to choose? You can't bring them all back, right? You were wrong again. Kagaya raised his head slightly triumphantly and said his own training experience. 2 words, I margin. Hancock was in a daze, completely unable to understand Kaguyu's thinking and couldn't keep up. You won't understand this kind of esoteric thinking. Read for hundreds of years. Wei Yoruichi's triumphant expression that is still far away from you, immediately returned to his indifferent grace, and continued reading. Well, Sister Kagaya is worth learning. Hancock remembered what Robin said. She said Kagaya was the Empire's #1 wise man. It should be true, right? It's true, it's just that sometimes the thinking is too jumpy and can't keep up with the rhythm at all. From afar, Lan Yu chuckled lightly. Lan Yu never doubted Kaguyu's wisdom, it was piled up with countless books abruptly. And Kagaya never picks books, and he reads everything carefully. Each book is full of his own thoughts and notes, even if Jiraiya's masterpieces are read with gusto. Nor, know who Kagaya will bring back. Lan Yu didn't observe any future, and withdrew his gaze. He is now solving a problem, that is, how to perfectly liberate Shirahoshi's Poseidon power. Advertisement appearing in front of Lan Yu is the projection of Shirahoshi in a piece of ocean. Lan Yu simulates and analyzes. The progress bar has reached 80%. The first half of the Grand Line, the land of the Calm Belt. This is where the Impel Down that forms the Golden Triangle with Marineford and Eni's lobby is located. AHF, the ocean current circulates between the three, and the distance is not far, so they can support the other two at any time. Roar, 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 one by one, the huge sea kings swim in the Calm Belt, appearing from time to time and turning around Impel Down. Provoked a lot of marine dignified jealousy. Impel Down, known as the Copper Wall and Iron Wall, built a city wall on the periphery, surrounded by marine ships. Sea kings are also natural defenses. Release all the pirates. How could the world government give such a frantic order? Are you crazy? Hearing the notice from the phone worm, Magellan, who had just become the director of Impel Down a few years ago, roared. I can't help it, this is an order. Qingshang's helpless and confused voice came from the telephone worm. Should have been to Impel Down on a warship long ago, but Qingshang chose someone to come and rode towards Impel Down on a bicycle. Damn it. Magellan's body was full of poisonous mist, and it was a little embarrassing until a squeaking sound came from his stomach. Wait until you arrive, my stomach hurts. Poisonous fruit makes Magellan a criminal's nightmare in the small enclosed area of Impel Down, where ordinary people will die if they touch it. The smaller the space, the stronger it is, but the side effects are also strong. As a result, he only worked 4 hours a day except eating, nearly 10 hours had diarrhea, and 8 hours had sleep. Okay, I get it. Aokiji expressed understanding and hung up the call worm. Facing each other far away. With the ability to freeze, Aokiji is safe even if he enters the calm belt. He has already seen the shadow of Impel Down. However, the main body of Impel Down is in the deep sea. What's the matter? My heart is suddenly so depressed. Qingshang parked his bicycle on the sea, seeing and hearing his surroundings. It's all around the sea, and there is nothing else but the sea kings that churn out. Aokiji frowned slightly and looked at the deep sea under the ice below his feet. Is it Seamile? He firmly believes that his instincts are right. It seemed that some terrifying beast was about to attack him, but he didn't see much. No, it's heaven. Qingshang suddenly raised his head and saw a red and black light, and the surrounding temperature rose linearly. Sakazuki. Seeing the magma fist descending from the sky, Qingshang blurted out, stunned. How did you get out of the Empire? Great eruption. Akainu above. His face calmly threw a punch. The huge lava fist is like a volcanic eruption, bursting into countless dense volcanic bombs in the sky. Ice wall. Senhan's cold air was released. Frozen the void all the way, forming a huge wall of ice. Boom boom boom. The ice wall collided with magma, exploded and froze continuously, flying around in white and red colors. Sakazuki, are you crazy? Aokiji screamed in disbelief. The other party even used the arm color, which was obviously true. Ha 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 ha, he is not crazy. Under Aokiji's shock and dignity, a small floating island fell from the sky, floating in the air 100 meters away. Golden Lion hugged his arms and grinned half floating. How? Are you surprised or surprised? Horrified. 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 This was Aokiji's emotions at the moment. When Aoki looked at the people standing on the edge of the island, his heart was full of powerlessness. Sakazuki. Pluton Rayleigh, Namikaze Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke. Plus the Golden Lion Shiki, Whitebeard came to death. It's been a long time, you have been promoted to Admiral. Naruto spoke with inexplicable emotions. 7 years later, the other party has reached the peak of his career, and he has just been promoted to team leader. I must be promoted this time. Naruto clenched his fists and said seriously. Sasuke snorted. Every time you mess up the task, as long as you don't hold back. The two of them followed. It is because of the promotion task of the squadron leader. Both of them have gained a lot of stability, their strength has grown exponentially, and they have received many promotion tasks. Sakazuki. Aokiji ignored Sa Ming, but looked at Akainu in disbelief. It's not that there is anything wrong with joining the Empire, but in Qingshang's heart, Akainu's position is extremely firm, and he would rather die than rebel. Akainu. I have died many times. Die ha ha ha, what are you waiting for, come on soon. Seeing that Golden Lion didn't want to do it, Rayleigh was a little surprised. The chance to beat Marine Admiral, don't you? Akainu's eyelids twitched. Golden Lion dismissed. I'm still busy moving Impel Down, he doesn't deserve to let me join hands. What? It turned out to be moving away from Impel Down. Qingshang couldn't help being surprised. Ice Age. Aokiji immediately zoomed in and stepped back, took out the phone worm, and started to notify Sengoku and Magellan. Late. Zuoming arrived in an instant. Akainu and Rayleigh are also hands-on. 4 people besiege. Boom. Chapter 89. Golden Lion moves away Impel Down, Admiral Kuzan captures successfully. Advertisement, Great Eruption, Badao Cut, Holy Destruction. Akainu, Lee, and Sasuke swooped down from the floating island before a wave of long-range attacks came first. And Naruto, who was leaving with Sasuke, gave a big surge. Naruto has 4,000 shots, Titicaca Titicaca. The overwhelming Namikaze Naruto figure spread all over the bottom of the island, rushing towards Aokiji faster than the attack of the 3. Boom boom boom. Such as the sky full of fireworks exploded. Akainu and Rayleigh were speechless. Sasuke suddenly became angry. You idiot, you can't run farther if you put any clones around? All of their attacks hit Naruto's body, making Sasuke want to go over and kick. Ahaha, sorry, I forgot you were there. Naruto smiled apologetically, but did not stop at all, and approached Aokiji first. Ice Age. Seeing so many avatars of Naruto, Aokiji was in a daze for a moment, and a cold air broke out directly. The torrent of cold air swept across. In an instant, the sea was frozen by ice. And freeze all the avatars of Naruto wherever they pass, turning them into ice sculptures. Pick up quickly. The big move was released again, and Aokiji continued to go backwards, constantly dialing the phone worm. Library when Sengoku's voice sounded. Sacred Arrow Killer 1,000 Birds Sharp Spear. A big thunder spear pierced the void in an instant, and suddenly struck. Aokiji just wanted to avoid it. The tyrant knife cuts continuously. On the left, a wave of incomparable chopping waves turned into a dense net on which the color of strong nuclear weapons was washed away. Not good. Aokiji immediately prepared to hide to the right. Dark Hound. The extremely fast extended arm rushed in, making Aokiji's heart freeze. The front, left, and right are all terrorist attacks. He couldn't back up, so he could only jump up. Aokiji quickly judged that he was about to jump. Ling Wind-style Super Jade Spiral Shuriken, the air pressure above suddenly changes. The piercing sound of wind blade cutting fell from the sky. Boom 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 boom. The quartet of attacks collided together. The ice surface where Aokiji was on split instantly, and seawater continued to roar out. What's the situation? The phone worm disconnected with a roar, and Sengoku's heart sank. Experience tells Sengoku that the explosion sound that just came back from the top powerhouse. Blue Brew. Sengoku immediately contacted Magellan, and a few seconds later, Magellan's voice came. Marshal Sengoku? You. Boom. Damn it, what happened? Boom, puff. Sengoku fell in love. There were 2 more roars, and the phone worm disconnected. Could it be that the turbulence started just after the pirates were released? No, something happened. Sengoku got up and was about to say something. An urgent voice came from outside the door. Marshal, it's okay, the military academy was invaded and 2 female students were taken away. What? Sengoku exclaimed and calmed down, and hurriedly said, Kizaru, go to Impel Down and have a look, hurry up. Hey. Kizaru raised his brows and didn't say anything. He turned into light and rushed towards Impel Down. Sengoku rushed towards the military academy, but after a few breaths, he landed on a square. There is a mess around. Zephyr, are you okay? Seeing the translation of vomiting blood on his knees, Sengoku suddenly became angry. Damn, who the hell is it? During the words, Sengoku was also extremely shocked. Although Zephyr was killed by a pirate because of his family, he has since become frustrated and mentally disordered, causing his strength to decline rapidly. But at present, the limbs are sound, and the 62-year-old is extremely rich in experience, which is not something ordinary people can win. Zephyr was injured and 2 female students were snatched away, only when I was informed that the speed was too fast. Sengoku couldn't think of anyone who could wound Zephyr in a very short time and walked away. Marshall is a man from the Holy Empire. During the period when the young smoker's temper was the most explosive, he was so angry at the moment. One Boa Hancock, the other raised his hand and injured teacher Zephyr. Tina and Ian have both been taken away, Holy Empire. Sengoku wanted to say something, and finally sighed. It's Otsutsuki Kagaya. Zephyr coughed up blood, and there was still a residual shock in his eyes. Light blue and white long hair, white long clothes, crimson eyes, just as Kuzan described. She condensed her repulsion to 1 point and hid me all. She kept her hands. Although there were residual heart palpitations, Zephyr was very sad. Tina is okay, 22 years old, but Ian is still young, only 12 years old, the youngest among the students. Ian was found by Zephyr from the ruins of the village destroyed by the pirates, and brought him back to Marine. For such a young girl, Zephyr couldn't imagine what she would do when she was caught. Otsutsuki Kagaya. Sengoku felt full of sullenness because he had no choice but to face the Empire. Impel Down outside. The Golden Lion Shiki has touched Impel Down, Yhwach, the nightmare land where I was held for 2 years, get out. The roar of Impel Down. It is Shiki who wants to uproot it. Wow. The outer wall was completely cracked, and a wide range of waves were set off. With the ability of history to launch, the entire Impel Down is shaking. What is revealed in the sea is only a small part of the top of Impel Down, which is also the entrance. Real Impel Down. It is a prison with a huge tower structure submerged into the sea. At the bottom, countless chains are tied to the rocks on the seabed to fix it. Golden Lion Shiki. When Magellan hurried back from the toilet to the office on the 4th floor, he saw the picture of external monitoring. What the hell is this guy going to do? Is he crazy? When I thought that Shiki was doing something, Magellan was full of dignity in his anger. In addition to monitoring phone worms, the rest of the communication phone bugs are all out of control, and no news can be sent. Yuji Shiryu sneered and said, obviously, he wants to move Impel Down, maybe he wants revenge. You can still laugh? Magellan can't forget, the bloodthirsty rain Shiryu drank twice after Shiki was in prison. Boom. Impel Down vibrated again. The chain at the bottom was disconnected, leaving the seabed completely, and all the criminals from the 1st to 6th floors were alarmed. Even if they can't see the outside world, many pirates feel that Impel Down is floating up. Advertisement, forbidden ha 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 ha, come out. Spiritual power Ryotsu and lion fruit exploded, and after floating Impel Down from the bottom of the sea, Golden Lion wanted to smash it into pieces. Smash this place that once caused him to be humiliated. Shiki held it back for a while and activated the holy text, size. The Impel Down of a behemoth suddenly shrank more than 10 times. The weight also decreased with the ability to launch, which relieved Shiki's pressure. Yahahaha, 4 people fight 1, and they haven't beaten it up to now, are you such a waste? Shiki looked at the frozen sea in the distance and found that Aokiji was missing. You talk a lot of nonsense, Rayleigh replied angrily. Akainu frowned slightly. I didn't expect Kuzan to develop such a move. After the 4-party attack fell, 4 people were surprised to find out. Qingshang escaped and disappeared. After sensing and capturing Aokiji, the 4 continued to bombard the ice. This move is really good. Rayleigh wanted to understand how Aokiji moved. Incarnate into the ice element, take the frozen sea as the path, and swiftly shuttle through the ice layer. Boom. As the ice exploded, a figure was blasted out. Want to escape? Dreaming. Sasuke said coldly. If there is only one person, you may have really run away. Where are you going to escape with 4 people? Puff cough cough. Aokiji coughed dry, feeling the tingling in his soul, and his heart sank to the bottom. 0. Look for flowers, Sakazuki, you have changed. Staring at Akainu again, Aokiji spoke. Divert your attention to accumulate energy. A boring trick. Akainu didn't have any waves in his heart, and made a strong move again. Ice Giant. The moment Akainu shot, the ice layer under Aokiji's feet burst instantly, turning into pieces and closing towards him. Ultimate Senhan also erupted from Xingshang, linking the ice cubes together. In an instant, a huge ice giant of hundreds of meters appeared on the spot, holding ice skates with great power. Isn't this the target? Naruto's eyes brightened. He likes to fight behemoths best, and he can hit them with a single throw. Target. Humph. Sasuke snorted coldly, and the 3 jades swiftly turned to form a connection, blooming with eternal light. Boom. Spiritual power flames skyrocketed. In an instant, a purple mighty god who was not weaker than the height of the ice giant was condensed. Don't waste time, do your best. Following Sasuke's loud shout, Suzuo's hands condensed a huge bow and arrow, and the thunder burst. Holy destruction of Indra, the void suddenly brightened. Boom. The ice blade of the ice giant suddenly burst, and half of its body was exploded. For example, Naruto spit out, it's also called Indra, I missed it, I'm an idiot. 0. Large divine destruction. Naruto directly condensed the large-scale destruction and rushed away. Boom. The giant exploded again. Aokiji's elemental body moved rapidly in various positions of the giant, dodged the attack, and controlled the giant's explosive attack. It can only be this way. Aokiji knows that giants will become a target, and it's okay to scare Vice Admiral and the like, it's useless to the top powers. But he has no other way, the giant can at least enhance the defense so that he can move quickly elemental. As soon as the body came out, there were crit attacks in all directions. It's here, the upper body was completely burst and still condensed. Rayleigh and Akainu caught Aokiji's downward movement. Boom. Rayleigh's horrible knife directly cracked the left side of the giant. Canine Tooth Red Lotus. Akainu's attack hit Aokiji's last escape position and attacked violently. Sa Ming's Ryotsu. Rayleigh's Conquerors. At the same time, they were released together and swept through together. Not good. Aokiji felt his consciousness sink. The action slowed down for an instant, and Akainu's heavy blow came. Boom. The ice burst in the magma rage. The entire ice giant collapsed uncontrollably on the spot, and a figure flew out. Has it ended? Xing Shang, who was flying upside down, gave a wry smile. He felt that his left leg was completely shattered by Akainu's blow, causing extensive burns on his body. Quack quack. When Aokiji flew upside down, the 4-way attack came again. Chi-Chi drowned him. Slash Wave, Shiki, the Golden Lion, also took a shot. Boom. The entire icy land collapsed and tsunamis churned. Sasuke relieved Suzu directly and rushed into the sea. After a while, Aokiji, who was seriously injured and fainted, flew out. Kuzan. Akainu murmured. In the process of flying backwards, he was unprepared and suffered heavy blows from 5 directions, and Akainu couldn't recognize Xingshang. Nothing is intact. There is only one breath left. Die ha 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 ha. Let's go. Shiki glanced at Xingshang and didn't say anything. The 4 fell on the floating island and disappeared into the sky in a flash. After half a minute. Oh, a golden light fell, stepped on some floating ice cubes. Have they gone? Kizaru's expression was a little helpless. I was killed or caught, no one told me, and I felt like I was abandoned again. Minister White Zetsu. Did you forget me? Chapter 90. Sengoku finally stiffened and opened the New World channel. Advertisement. Impelled down is suspected to have been moved by Golden Lion. Kuzan also disappeared. I haven't seen it alone. What? Hearing the news that Kizaru brought back, Sengoku smashed the table. All the generals in the entire office were silent, and their eyes were a little confused. Which one is this? Following the arrest of the Black Ape Admiral, Akainu Admiral, and Aokiji Admiral also arrested. 3 Admiral has fallen. Seeing only a tiny bit of life card in Sengoku's hand, Zephyr's eyes turned red. The life card is not afraid of water or fire. If the owner is weak, it will burn and shrink, and the recovery will be intact again. But Aokiji's life card, there is only a small residue that is difficult to detect, even if he is alive, there is only a breath left. Perusalino, promise me. You must promise me. Admiral knelt one after another. Sengoku was a little desperate in his heart. He looked at Kizaru as if he saw the life-saving straw, and pleaded. If you encounter the Empire in the future, you must run away. No? You can definitely run away, right? This. Kizaru didn't know what to say. It was the first time he saw Sengoku who was so ghoulish, he could imagine how hard it was. That's right, if I were the marshal, I would definitely be crazy, right? Kizaru thought, just about to speak. The generals stared, because Sengoku dialed the phone worm who contacted 5 elders. Going up is just a scolding. I %% ** hash at **** -9. Listen. What a beautiful word. The generals thought this was the best thing they had ever heard in their lives. One word, cool. Sengoku finally stiffened. In Kizaru's eyes, they all feel very handsome. After cursing, Sengoku said in a deep voice. It is the world government that the Empire wants to destroy. Don't use Marine as a gunman. Don't bring Marine with you in any future matters involving the Empire. You will remember it for lousy, that's it. Asterisk asterisk the bald head and the long beard fell in love. Pot. The bald five elders drew his sword in an instant, and his body was full of murderous aura. It was Sengoku just now. How dare he wants to rebel. I will kill him now. The bald head said that he was so big that he had never heard anyone dare to speak bad words to him. Even Lord I am. At most, I ignored my bald head, and many more. Longbeard immediately grabbed his bald head. Although angry, he said rationally, don't say can you go to the Marine headquarters to kill him, what if you kill him? The bald face looked grim. He greets my mother, I can't swallow this breath. Me too. Pressing his bald head on the sofa, the Longbeard's face sternly said, now Sengoku can't move, we still need Marine's power, but we can wait for everything to be over and clean it all. Forbearance. Damn it. The bald head was angry, but after all he took the knife back into its sheath, and said coldly, Marine is all rubbish. Impel Down is suspected to be moved by Golden Lion, and Marine is not doing anything. How should I stop the first half? What a good plan. Let Marine be a gunman, and let the Impel Down pirate slow down the pace of the Empire. But it's all gone. Do not, the Longbeard's words made the bald head say strange, and listen to him continue. Not only can it be blocked, but also let go of the special passage of world government to New World. Let those who have nowhere to retreat, all run to the New World. Having said this, Longbeard sneered. When the Empire finds that the strong in the first half have run away, it will be angrily chased after it. When the strong in New World knows that the Empire is about to attack, it will be equally angry. Anger. When you encounter anger, the battlefield will detonate in the New World. Even if the Empire is not angry, it will speed up the first half and enter the New World fastest. Good idea. New World is not just a gathering place for pirates, there are many powerful nations. Not to mention the New World Alliance, even if they fight separately, they can greatly slow down the pace of the Empire. The bald head thought so, and added, this is not enough. We can send Imperial soldiers in disguise to kill some important personnel under the banner of powerful nations and big pirates. To annoy them thoroughly, the Longbeard nodded solemnly. As for whether those powerful nations and big pirates believe it or not, they have all hit their doorsteps, and they will believe it if they don't believe it. That's all. Open the special channel immediately. Impel Down in Aokiji. It was directly blocked by 5 elders, and if they could drag it, they only had this little face left. White Zetsu didn't bother to post any more Empire times over there, it was not yet time. The Empire is unstoppable, open the way. If necessary, contact us. 5 elders did not publish any newspapers. With the help of the CP organization, the news of the opening of the New World channel was crazily spread to the ears of various forces. Hope is here. Many forces that were desperate and prepared to fight the Empire suddenly came to their minds. All the way to New World may be cut off by the Empire. I did not expect that the world government still has a passage. The forces that received the news, even those royal nobles who would rather die than give up their rights, decided to leave cruelly. Stay in the first half has a high probability of death, but even if you go to New World, you can live for a while. One day is one day. This is the thinking of many royal families, nobles, pirates, wicked parties, and even many people in the Revolutionary Army. They packed up their supplies and fled New World. All idiots. These are the 4 words White Zetsu said after learning the news. The Empire is thinking about how to win the first half faster. I didn't expect you to be a god assist. White Zetsu sneered. Let's run, let's all run. In order to avoid a group of mice jumping around and wasting time, when all the mice run to New World, there is no way to go back. Innocent wastes, New World is the place where the Empire prepared the cage. All the worlds return to the Empire, and then take the first half, then the world will only have New World and Marijoy. Everything is clear. By the way, Kizaru and Marine. After thinking about it, White Zetsu decided to report and inquire about your majesty. Kizaru. Minister White Zetsu, you finally think of me. The Beijo military region is located. Boom, advertisement. Golden Lion restored the size of Impel Down and placed it on the huge square. Impel Down was taken back from the sky openly, attracting the attention of many people in North State. As this Impel Down, Kakuzu didn't know when he came over, followed by Dover and Tezzolo. Meet Minister Kakuzu. Shiki saluted, and then said, yes, Minister, there are many strong people in it, and some are not weaker than me. Huh? The strong. Kakuzu came with interest. Many strong men are very rich, and they don't know where the treasures of those strong men are hidden. You can search the memory, find out the hidden treasure. In an instant, Zhao found a small way to make a fortune, and he was sure to accomplish many small goals. It's boiling over. Shiki-senpai is too humble. As far as I know, Impel Down should not be as strong as you. Dover searches his mind. Is there a monster stronger than Golden Lion in Eternal Hell? What humility. If I can't agree with my strength, I don't even bother to say it. Thinking of his mission, Shiki said seriously, Your Majesty's mission is to remove Impel Down, take Admiral Kuzan, and throw the 2 of Eternal Hell into the education and training of the holy soldiers. If you don't accept it, you will have to kill. Which 2? Kakuzu is a little different. That said, these 2 people must be talents, and they have caused your Majesty's attention. Is it only 2 people? Tezzolo couldn't help but speak. In his opinion, Impel Down imprisoned so many powerhouses, how can it increase the power of the Empire if they accept them all? After understanding Tezzolo's thoughts, Kakuzu said flatly, not all rubbish is eligible to join the Empire. No matter what you say, you are very lucky. Everyone was slightly silent. Swipe it. At this moment, many of the soldiers of the imperial troops who stayed behind in the northern state, many of them left their clones and came. Because they received the notice. Your Majesty has an order to clean up Impel Down, except for Douglas Bullet and Bullery Clyde Field. The rest of the prisoners. Don't keep one. Athena passed by in the sky, leaving a word and turned and left. She is not interested in Impel Down. Yes, Secretary. Everyone spoke immediately. At this moment Rayleigh was in a daze. It turns out that it was the two of them. And also the second of the most talented men I have ever heard of. Akainu said in a deep voice, they are not like pirates. Shiki, Rayleigh, and even Akainu gave them extremely high reviews. Yehahaha, I haven't seen you for a long time, the most arrogant guy. Golden Lion had never seen Earl Red even when he was in jail, and could not wait to rush into Impel Down at this moment. Swipe. Impel Down one by one. Boom boom boom. Impel Down is in chaos at this moment. Magellan and Shiryu's hearts sank to the bottom, completely losing their composure. The communication phone bug was destroyed, but the external monitoring phone bug did not destroy it. They could only watch Impel Down enter the northern state of the Empire. Watching many people rush into Impel Down. This is the headquarters of the Holy Empire. It's not saved, it's completely unsaved. The deputy warden Hanayabal was terrified. In any case, protect Impel Down even if you die. Magellan, with a strong sense of responsibility, resisted the diarrhea and rushed out. Huh, stupid. Yuji Shiryu sneered and slowly pulled out the famous knife Thunderstorm. With my strength, how can I live well in the Empire, are you right? What? Hanayabal was startled, and as soon as he turned around, he saw the blade flash. Puff. The thunderstorm cut off Hanayabal's head directly. Shiryu was silent for a moment, and picked up Hanayabal's head indifferently. Empire, I am coming. This is his nomination certificate. Boom. But just when Shiryu was going out, 5.9 a figure flew upside down and smashed the wall, vomiting blood on the ground. Magnellan? Shiryu couldn't help being surprised. Although I don't want to admit it, in this closed and narrow Impel Down, the other side's poisonous fruit is absolutely terrifying. But just go out for half a minute, is this defeated? Lack ha 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 ha, long time no see, Shiryu of Rain. Not far away, Golden Lion, Rayleigh and others broke through the fourth floor and went directly to Blazing Hell, the fourth basement floor where Magellan's office is located. It's been a long time. Seeing Shiki's sneer on his face, Shiryu couldn't help but retreat, cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Die ha ha ha, I will never forget the 2 knives you slashed on me while I was in jail. Shiki was full of murderous intentions. Shiryu is dead today, he said. Go down, I will kill him. Shiki rushed towards Shiryu of Rain. Everyone didn't care, just rubbish. Boom, 4-layer blazing hell broken. Boom. The 5-layer freezing hell is broken, when other soldiers cleaned up layer by layer from the first floor. Rayleigh and others came to the 6th floor, eternal hell. Just dropped to the ground, there was a calm voice. I didn't expect it to be you, Rayleigh, Chapter 91. The death of Shiryu Ivankov, Bullet and Ryder join the Empire. Advertisement, Bullet? Hearing the familiar voice, Rayleigh followed his gaze. Eternal hell was dark, but Rayleigh still saw clearly that a strong man with long curly yellow hair was working hard. Buttering, even with seastone handcuffs, even in eternal hell, I still don't waste any time trying to become stronger. Doflamingo was really taken aback. There are even people who exercise in eternal hell, and they can't get enough energy to eat. So self-disciplined, I seem to understand why your majesty has ordered you. Kakuzu came, his eyes admiring. When entering Impel Down, Kakuzu asked the intelligence department for a piece of information. Douglas Bullet, abandoned by birth, adopted by the enemy's army, became a juvenile soldier from 1 to 8 years old. 9 to 13 years old, the most successful young soldier. Become a national hero at the age of 14, admired by thousands of people, and awarded the title of general. When the intelligence saw this, Kakuzu was surprised by Bullet's growth experience. What is a young soldier? The main task is to take the lead on the battlefield and step on landmines, or to open the way with bombs. Pave the way with corpses and win for the country. To survive is to really crawl out of the sea of blood in the Dead Mountain. Since I was a child, I have been far better than other young soldiers. I have suffered from the jealousy of other young soldiers and have been constantly betrayed and hurt. Even if you become a hero, you are still betrayed by the country. From then on, you only believe in your own power. Not being jealous is mediocre. Kakuzu scored 99 points for Bullet's 10-year career. I am afraid of Bullet proud. I challenged Roger to defeat at the age of 15, and joined the pirates in order to surpass Roger. The same year, a draw with Rayleigh. At the age of 17, he was called the Queen of the Devil, and was called a monster by everyone. At the age of 22, he played against Buster Call led by Garp and Sengoku, and was raided by pirates, exhausted and defeated. Full marks. Must be full score. Kakuzu 07's green eyes glowed, and he admired. Bullet, you are the best soldier I know in this world. Yes. Although Bullet aspires to be the strongest in the world, defeat all the strong. But he has never forgotten that he is a soldier and wears a military uniform wherever he goes. The body is covered with medals. Humph. I don't know who snorted. Immediately afterwards, there was a wave of arrogant sneers. As soon as I come in, I'll talk nonsense for a long time, so what if Bullet is strong? I haven't been caught yet. That is, I don't have enough to eat, Tenten exercises here like an idiot, wasting energy. That B asterisk 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 D doesn't rest in the middle of the night, so noisy that lousy can't sleep. Stop talking nonsense, let lousy go out and take you as a kid. The pirates of eternal hell suddenly quarreled, all arrogant and disdainful. Puff. A bullet string pierced the forehead of a pirate, and Doflamingo was even more disdainful. Dedoo. Every loser is so arrogant, it really laughs me to death. Listen, Holy Empire. What Holy Empire? Lousy has never heard of it, your words angered Lousy. Boom. A conquerors burst out from a cell, boom. Boom. Immediately after that, dozens of conquerors began to collide, and in an instant it turned into an invisible beam and rushed to the first 5 floors. Conquerors? Ivankov, with purple curly hair and exploding head, exclaimed in the interlayer between the 5th and 4th layers. Ivankov went to jail for unnecessarily charged charges, and disappeared from prison because of the ghost-pulling oil incident. But it has always been hidden and impelled down. Unexpectedly, there is a mezzanine here, which is really surprising. Yurihong sensed Ryotsu, blasted open the mezzanine, and saw Ivankov and others. You are, seeing the other party's clothing and the badge on it, Ivankov's pupils shrank. Stop talking nonsense, die. Maoyue Xian snorted coldly, and the spirit blade was unsheathed, and the knife was like a phantom. Sword pressure obscure moon night. Countless afterimages like a full moon shrouded Ivankov and others, beautiful and dangerous. Hurry up! Ivankov yelled, and was about to fight back, and his movements suddenly stopped. Heart-turning technique. Ino uses his soul to concentrate his mind on one point and aim at Ivankov and others to release. Ivankov and others suddenly felt drowsy and followed their bodies. Boom! At the same time, there are several Ryotsu blooms. Even Ivankov and others, who were already a little lethargic, stagnated. Sacred Lost Scythe Itachi, Sacred Destroyer, hundreds of weapons are dazzling. Holy Destruction, Super Aggravated Rock. Tamari was lost like a storm, Tenten turned into the loss of various weapons, and the black soil strengthened the power of the loss. Chi raided the past. Boom, accompanied by a thunderous roar. The mezzanine collapsed instantly, and Ivankov and others had no chance to resist. No bones left. I just said something and you killed them all. Rihong couldn't help holding his forehead. Tenten, Tamari, Kuroto, Ino and Xian all work well together. It's going to die anyway, it's done, and the 5th floor will be cleaned up. Tenten clapped his hands, raised his head and smiled, his eyes sparkling. The girls also smiled. Chi beheaded separately. The 4th floor. The ridiculous conquerors. Feeling conquerors rushing up, Shiki the golden lion showed disdain, and then looked at Shiryu who was stepping on her feet like a dead dog. Ha ha ha, leave your last words. Puff cough cough. Shiryu's eyes were full of horror and horror. He had never thought that Shiki, who had recovered to the top, was so strong. The thunderstorm slashed him and almost cut him in two without losing its prestige. Step on it again. There is no resistance. I want to join the Empire. Being stepped on by Shiki, Yuji Shiryu spoke with difficulty, his eyes full of urge to survive. Advertisement: Your Majesty's order is to kill all the prisoners except those 2. Shiki's words lifted Shiryu's spirits. He is not a criminal in jail. There is hope. Immediately Shiryu saw an even more frightening scene. Slash wave. The terrifying golden blow was cut out by Shiki's turning around, and everything he passed by was cut open. Puff. Magellan, who was just body, had not had time to release the poison. Was split in half on the spot. Kill with a single shot. How can this be? Shiryu was shocked, he couldn't believe it. Why is it impossible? He is a bit useful besides poisonous fruit, physical skills hockey are rubbish, you are rubbish. Shiki doesn't think how strong Magellan is. Impel down is too narrow and closed, allowing the poisonous gas and mist to be used perfectly, and there is no advantage at all on the outside. No, don't kill me, you just said that Your Majesty ordered to go to jail. Seeing Shiki looking indifferently, Shiryu became frightened. Puff, it's another knife. Shiki cut off Shiryu's head. Shiryu couldn't catch his eyes. What do you keep the garbage for? Your Majesty never said that you can't kill it. Leave a word indifferently. Shiki rushed to eternal hell. And in eternal hell, black and red lightning raged. Conquerors kept colliding. Do it. Kakuzu felt bored after experiencing the so-called conquerors' collision. What a bunch of garbage duo, so many big pirates, enough for me to kill. Dover and Tezzolo sneered and killed the perennially weak pirates in each cell. Great eruption. Akainu's silent magma rush, killing a large swath with one punch. Bullet, you still work so hard. Rayleigh looked at Bullet, who was still exercising without being affected, and his heart was full of emotion. You can see countless advantages from Bullet: self-discipline, hard work, never give up, and never proud, but he is too obsessed with power. Rayleigh recalled what Roger had said, that the pursuit of ultimate power was the only minor problem with Bullet. It's not that the pursuit of power is bad. If you are too persistent, you will ignore many other important things and you will fall into a dead end. In the face of Garp and Sengoku plus a lot of Marines, everyone has to run, but Bullet never thought of running. Just thinking about wars and wars, it's crazy. I can feel your breath getting stronger, Rayleigh. Bullet raised his head and looked sharply at Rayleigh, his eyes full of war. I'm in prison, and I want to fight with me. Is there nothing in your mind besides fighting? Rayleigh said irritably, saying that Kaido is a fighting freak, and Bullet is the one who fights all his life. You know, I only believe in my own strength. My strength exists to let me win by myself. Bullet stopped exercising. When I stood up, the sound of seastone chains crashed. Kai ha ha ha, it's been a long time since I saw the kid, come and join the Empire. The golden lion Shiki flew over, took a look at Bullet, and felt something. Flew towards the inside of eternal hell again. Golden lion Shiki. Bullet's eyes condensed, looking at the visitors one by one, remembering. And Sakazuki, you guys got together. That's great. Bullet became excited as he said, feeling that his blood was boiling, and shouted, as the Holy Empire. I have heard a lot of discussions about the new garbage in the past few years. Come on, let me 140 out. As long as I kill you all together, I will be the strongest in the world beyond Roger. Rayleigh couldn't help holding his forehead. What a fighting freak. Thinking of what? Rayleigh joked. Join the Empire, I will let you meet a few people who are far more powerful than Roger, how about it? Compared with those two, you are too weak. Bullet's laughter stopped abruptly. Staring at Rayleigh sharply, Bullet said coldly, are you serious? Rayleigh didn't say, just smiled. I agreed. Bullet was very decisive and said coldly again, if I find that you are lying to me, I must kill you. Boom. Rayleigh armed with spiritual power Reiatsu blooms together. It smashed the prison with a single knife, and split the chain incidentally. Where is the person? As soon as Bullet came out, I couldn't wait. I really want to talk to Rayleigh. No hurry, wait until Shiki takes that person first. Following Rayleigh's gaze, Bullet's eyes narrowed slightly, and he said solemnly, I joined to challenge the strong man you said, but that lonely man. It is impossible to join. Bullet is very sure. Lonely Red, Red Earl, Lonely Rider. The above are all the titles of Letterfield, the other party is too lonely. And the strength is extremely powerful, just by one person to keep pace with Roger and Whitebeard. The main thing, Letterfield hates to make alliances with others, and regards loneliness as his creed. Recalling the other person's loneliness, Rayleigh smiled. What Bullet was about to say, Shiki just approached. Then came Letterfield's voice. Forbidden ha ha ha, Ryder, you. It's been a long time, Shiki, there is no need to advise me to join the Empire. In the shadows, I could see a tall and thin old man with white hair braided on his shoulders, old and hockey. His whole body was penetrated by seastone chains. It's hard to move at all. The whole body is full of loneliness. When everyone thought that it was so, Ryder would not join any forces. The lonely Ryder spoke indifferently, there is no need to talk nonsense. I joined the Holy Empire. Chapter 92. Reading the memory of seeing and hearing, BIGMOM's Tea Party. Advertisement. How can this be? It's fake, did I hear it wrong? Hearing Ryder said that he would join the Holy Empire, the pirates of Eternal Hell were all stunned. Lonely Ryder, always alone, there has never been any companion around. If this is not the case, it will not defeat Kong Kong, causing no one to help after exhaustion. Even if Ryder had a companion by his side at the time, he would be rescued to avoid jail. Sheng is also lonely. The defeat is also high. Doo-doo-doo, although a little unexpected. As he said, Doflamingo looked at the other pirates indifferently. Stop arguing, okay. Wild waves and white lines. Golden ocean. Dover and Tezzolo immediately awakened, and countless silk threads and gold merged into two tsunamis and started killing. Meteor volcano. Akainu shot harder. The magma fist, like a meteor shower, directly turned everything it went through into a sea of magma fire, and the pirates of the Eternal Hell were burned. Hey, don't make big moves. Eternal Hell didn't have much space, and Rayleigh also hacked several pirates to death after avoiding it. Why? Bullet walked outside the prison where Ryder was and stared at Ryder. It's his regret that he didn't fight with Ryder. I have reason to join the Empire, challenge the strong, pursue ultimate power, and become stronger, but you. Looking at the lonely old man in the prison, Bullet was deeply puzzled. I can't think of any reason to let you who have been alone for a lifetime, directly yield. Give me a reason, don't make me look down on you. Too young. Shiki couldn't help but his eyelids twitched. Young man, you don't know how strong Ryder at the peak is. I don't need to understand, give me time, I will surpass everyone. Row, as long as you are happy. Shiki ignored Bullet, and slashed at the cell without saying a word. Boom boom boom. The prison and chains broke apart. The taste of freedom. Baroque Letterfield drew out the chains that ran through his body without changing his face, and stood up calmly. Even if the body is old and dilapidated, still can't hide the elegance of the Earl's nobleness that naturally appears on his body. You are younger, Shiki. Letterfield's red eyebrows moved slightly, and there was a wicked smile on his face. Looking at the evil smile on Letterfield's signature, Shiki raised his brows slightly. I also need a reason. He hasn't spoken yet. Ryder said he joined the Empire. This disrupted all Shiki's plans, and he still wanted to kill Ryder dozens of times before talking. Give me time, when I find the fruit, I will go to you. Letterfield didn't explain anything. Is it this one? Kakuzu took out a fruit, but didn't recognize what it was after looking at it. But before he entered Impel Down, when looking for the information from the intelligence department, White Zetsu sent someone to give it to him, saying it was for Ryder. It's it. Letterfield's heart accelerated. Zone, bat fruit, monster species, vampire form. This is what he planned, and tormented in prison, waiting for the almost impossible opportunity to escape. Then go to find and regain youth. He has a clue that the vampire fruit may be around the ancient town of Sleeping, and there are countless bat caves there. This is what you want. I didn't expect you to be a terrible old man. Shiki glanced at it and said, the legendary vampire fruit. You can absorb the lifespan of others by absorbing the blood of others, so that you can return to the way you were when you were young, and even your strength can be restored to when you were young. It is the fruit that can keep people youthful for a lifetime and remain at the peak. Quote. I thought it was pretty good before, but now it seems like that. Letterfield spoke deeply. Vampire fruit can only keep people young, not longevity. How old should I die? I still have to die of old age. So that's it. I understand. Hearing Ryder's words, Rayleigh suddenly realized. No wonder we haven't said anything, you just said to join the Empire, it turned out to be you. Seeing, hearing, seeing through someone's heart, reading the memory, and understanding what an empire is, right? What? Read the memory. Dover and Tezzolo stopped moving. In the field, only the two of them are the weakest, obviously speaking of them. Senior Ryder, please take back your knowledge. Dover and Tezzolo were extremely resistant. Even if the Empire surveys the soul to detect memory, it avoids personal privacy. God knows what Ryder read. Rayleigh, I looked at your heart. I didn't even respond to what I saw or showed up. It seems that you have relaxed a lot over the years. Ryder ignored the two. Look at Rayleigh. Rayleigh had a black line, and immediately bounced off the site and peeped. Didn't I forget this? Don't look again. You be asterisk. D. Hey, Kakuzu will bring vampire fruit. Ryder didn't speak anymore. Silently took over and ate. Thank you, it tastes good. Ryder said calmly. Everyone was speechless. Bullet deeply agrees that if you have been hungry for a long time in eternal hell, it is delicious to eat. Is there anything to eat? Bullet watched Ryder eat the fruit that tasted like shong, so he couldn't help being hungry. Give. Kakuzu admired Bullet very much, and took out a lot of food from Na Lingjia and threw it over. Holy Empire. What a great country. The appearance is calm and the clouds are calm, but Ryder's heart is full of stormy waves. He has a strong sense of knowledge since he was a child, and grows stronger with age. See through people's hearts. Read the memory. But because of this, I am used to seeing the ugly heart of the people around me, and have a great rejection of people, and have developed a lonely character. Only Brook is pure in heart. Brook was the cleanest pirate Ryder had ever seen when he was young. He was also greatly influenced and worshipped Brook and went to sea. Brook. Come and save me, Fan. Heaven, Ninja, Endless World. These are some fragments that Ryder learned from Rayleigh's memory before. Rayleigh joined the Empire for 7 years, and has also been to the heavens and ninjas several times. The fragments of memory made Ryder stupefied and shocked. Facing such a magnificent country, how ridiculous is my loneliness. Advertisement. The frog at the bottom of the well. The native won. This was Ryder's idea, so he chose to join the Empire in the first place. There is no need for Shiki to say anything. Sorry Brook, I have a new idol. Ryder wanted to hear Brook sing again, but at the moment he just wanted to say. Excuse me, can I go to see His Majesty the Great Holy Empire Emperor? The tone is humble, admiration in the eyes. Forbidden ha. Play well for the Empire, there will be opportunities in the future. Come with us. Impel down. The task has been completed, and Shiki is no longer talking nonsense. Everyone started a big cleanup. Inside the Imperial Hall. Lan Yu listened to White Zetsu's report, and glanced at Impel down who moved to Kitashu. Ryder, Bullet, for these two people, Lan Yu also appreciates it. A pure loneliness, a pure pursuit of power, are all pure. Lan Yu couldn't find anything wrong. It is worth training. Hearing Lan Yu's murmur of these two people, White Zetsu also echoed, Your Majesty, I have statistics on current talents in Qinghai. Based on all factors, Ryder ranks first and Bullet ranks third in terms of whether it is worth training. Lan Yu couldn't help but look sideways. White Zetsu also played a trick on the intelligence department, and also brought rankings. The second one, Lan Yu didn't observe anything, and always gave his subordinates a chance to perform. White Zetsu coughed slightly and said immediately. Your Majesty, just listen to it. I ranked it myself. The third, as the Mount of Master Ban, the strongest creature in Qinghai. Kaido. White Zetsu's own opinion, Lan Yu doesn't care, everyone's opinion is different. Kaido. Quote. Lan Yu did not comment on the class taking Kaido as a mount. Because Madara doesn't need any mounts. His main purpose is to crush and subdue all Kaido's arrogance. You are only worthy of a mount in my eyes, nothing great. That's what Madara means. All Kaido's arrogance is fragmented. The arrogance is shattered, and surrender is naturally there. I'm convinced. Kaido also understands what Madara means. To be honest is to be a subordinate. If you are not honest, you can only be a mount pet. Choose for yourself. This is Kizaru's mission. White Zetsu is here to report on Kizaru and Marine, and Lan Yu threw a mission statement to White Zetsu. Kizaru spent 7 years at Marine. It's time to do business. As for Marine, take Lan Yu's point of view. There are always some so-called free and kind pirates who rush to the Grand Line to recharge their numbers. There are always some so-called Marines who flaunt justice, who are causing trouble to civilians all over the world. Therefore, the kind pirates are a minority, and the sinful Marines are also a minority. The so-called protagonist group cannot be used to represent the pirates, let alone the so-called mouse colonel to represent Marine. Send someone to take down Marineford, remember, they only have one chance. Lan Yu doesn't want to waste time on anyone. Yes, your majesty. White Zetsu didn't say much, and secretly sighed for Kizaru. What a lucky guy. Allow your majesty to specify the task himself. Kizaru can be considered a good one. At the same time. On an island in New World, Uchiha Madara sat in the void peacefully, closing her eyes to rest. Kaido glanced at it from time to time, and finally couldn't help but said, "Aren't you going to hit that guy? Why didn't you leave?" Calmness, patience, and composure are what you have to learn. Uchiha Madara spoke without opening his eyes. Kaido was speechless. What peace and patience. He only felt the invisible vice admiral, his breathless breath. Never mind. Sleep. Now. The waters of New World. It is also in the waters of the kingdom of Todo Land. There is an island in the shape of many cakes. It is the queen of the kingdom of Todo Land. Cake Island. Today's Cake Island is extremely lively. From the coast, you can see boats of all sizes, and all kinds of people are walking down here. Wow, it's so lively. Are there any activities here? Suddenly heard the question. The crooked man who just got off the boat and landed on the island frowned slightly. I don't even know the tea party of the Charlotte family. How did you come here? Huh, a little person who has never seen the world. One of the emperors of the underground dark forces. Umit, the Sea King, glanced with disdain. Never seen it. Do not know. Little guy. One with black hair. Looks silly. Wearing casual clothes. Look around. One with white hair. I don't know what I'm writing with a pen in my hand. I heard Umit say so. Jiraiya suddenly lost his eyes. There are so many flies, and I didn't ask you this rubbish. Okay Jiraiya. Hashirama smiled carelessly. Anyway, he's going to die in a while. Don't talk nonsense with the dead. Yes, Lord Hashirama. Jiraiya looked at Umit like a dead person, then ignored the hook. Quote. Umit was about to furious. Hashirama and Jiraiya disappeared in no time, and entered Cake Island. What a terrifying speed. Umit was shocked. Ruined. He won't really die. Chapter 93. Little Pudding. You are so funny, I will take you to meet your mother. Advertisement. Cake Island. Crowded. Move in quickly, Mom's tea party is about to begin. Continue to patrol, kill anyone who makes trouble immediately, or mother will be angry. Now, every member of the Charlotte family is busy. What trees, stones, tables and chairs on Cake Island, and even many houses are shouting. Using the characteristics of the soul, inject soul into the object to form an alternative life form. It can be said, almost everything that can be seen on the island is the eyeliner of BIGMOM. Every word you say, everything you do, all small actions in the dark, as long as you are out of line, will be known by BIGMOM. The seemingly prosperous Cake Island. It's more like an alternative prison. It is worthy of being one of the three major hegemons of New World. The Empire is already attacking the Grand Line, and there is such a mentality to open the tea party. Morgans turned into a bird and fruit albatross shape, walking on the ground. His tone of voice could not tell whether he was admired or contemptuous, very plain. The king of loan sharks, the god of good fortune, Dufeld glanced at him and said, "Be quiet, don't talk nonsense during critical periods." In the big hand funeral room, Dragu Pietro was full of blood, looking aside. What's wrong with you Umit? You won't be scared to pee by the talking tree. Gibson, the king of the warehouse industry, sneered. Except for Queen of the Pleasure District Stussy, which was captured by Robin in North State. The 5 kings of the underground dark world, all gathered. Can enter the island as soon as possible. Everyone found that Umit was in a trance, full of fear, as if he had encountered something terrible. You, the king of the sea, Midi, wiped his cold sweat, motioned everyone to look over, and said in a deep voice, "Does anyone know those two?" Everyone followed their gazes. Not far away, only 2 people sat on a corner table. One dangled the iron knot at other things, and the other ate the dessert with relish, suffocating in sorrow. I don't know 150. Little guy, haven't that guy eaten? I can't stop it. The king of loan sharks and others showed contempt in their eyes, only small people they had never seen before. It's them. Morgans was shocked. As the president of the World Economic News, his main business is to collect all kinds of information and build a good relationship with all parties. If the source of Shaw's information is unknown, that Morgans bought it directly and sold it with information. How can this kind of person let it go? White Zetsu had noticed Morgans a long time ago. Economic newspaper, right, get it for you. So, in the first 7 years, White Zetsu recruited Shaki into the intelligence department and brought Morgans in by the way. Master Hashirama, and Master Jiraiya, how come they are here? The personnel of the Imperial Intelligence Department must first remember the appearance of everyone at the top of the empire. Morgans can't forget. Imperial Army Admiral, Jiraiya. Imperial Field Marshal, Senju Hashirama. Big news. Under the pressure of a few people, Morgans was suddenly excited and couldn't help himself. He took out the phone bug and patted something, full of excitement. Sorry, I really can't control my hands, this is the big news that shook the world. Morgans said it was excited. But he was also very calm, just patted Hashirama and Jiraiya casually, and then patted the surroundings. Master Hashirama, that little bird is taking pictures of us, aren't we too handsome? Jiraiya whispered and took the Empire mobile phone to shoot around Cake Island. What are you saying? Senju Hashirama stopped eating dessert, and said very seriously, I have said it many times. It is enough to know what we are so handsome, and there is no need to say it. It will be jealous for others to hear, especially Madara. Jiraiya nodded repeatedly, quite agreeing. Madara. You are dead. What are you doing, Morgans? A tall man wearing a main helmet and a biscuit armor came up and said in a deep voice, first of all, you are welcome to join my mother's tea party. The young man with a fat appearance and a huge long knife next to him said. Secondly, there are important discussions today, and no one is allowed to shoot. 2 of the 4 stars for dessert. Charlotte Cracker. Charlotte Snug. The minister of the Todo Land Kingdom is far superior to the rank of ordinary combatants. He has his own fleet and cadres transferred to him. Sorry, I will put it away now. Morgans is not in a hurry, he has seen the precursor to the birth of top news. Marine King Umit still asked. 2 sirs, do you know those 2? Umit still didn't give up, and continued to ask if anyone knew Hashirama and Jiraiya. He couldn't forget the speed of the 2, and the words that left him for a while and died. Didn't you bring it? Cracker looked at the Hashirama 2 in the corner, and didn't care about it. Which pirate group should be the little pirate? But, stop talking nonsense, it will start in 10 minutes, you can take your seats. Cracker interrupted Umit's words, turned and left Snug. 2 little people I haven't seen, how can mother's tea talk be important? Too arrogant. Umit got angry. How could those 2 people's terrifying speed be small people? What if he was really killed? Master Hashirama, I have a question. Jiraiya put down the phone, puzzled. Is there a problem with our clothes? Why do we all treat us as little people? Big pants, floral shirt. How fashionable, the most important thing is temperament. My transcendent temperament, I tried my best to suppress the terrible powerhouse or that can hardly be hidden, are they all blind? Jiraiya murmured. Ahem. Advertisement. Hashirama took a bite of the cake and said with emotion, it's you who thought wrong. Even if they are blind, they still hold on to their posts and hold tea parties. I am very touched. How about you? I am also very touched. Jiraiya was shocked, and almost couldn't keep up with Hashirama's rhythm. Worthy of being a marshal. Thinking is amazing and amazing. Titicaca. Excuse me, are you here to be funny? A crisp laughter came from under the table, and Hashirama and Jiraiya looked over. This is a cute little girl wearing a pink princess dress, light brown long curly hair with bangs and double ponytails. A very small one. It's the size of a child of ordinary people. Funny. Jiraiya took a look, shook his fist and said, don't think you are a kid, I won't beat you. Hit me. Charlotte Pudding, who was only 4 or 5 years old this year, was stunned, then smiled. What a funny joke, are you guys from the circus? Come with me, mom may like it, you are lucky to be discovered by me. This bear kid. What Jiraiya was about to say. Hashirama waved his hand slightly, looked at Pudding and chuckled, okay. Real. Pudding has some strange surprises. She is the 35th daughter of Charlotte Linlin, a 3-eyed mixed race, who has been bullied since childhood. Even the aunt doesn't like it, she thinks her third eye is ugly. But Pudding has always wanted to win the trust of God's mother, and strives to be an excellent and capable daughter in front of her aunt. But I'm too young to even prepare a decent gift. The 2 of them are so funny. If I can make my mother laugh, I will be satisfied. Xiaobu is still young. Although he covers his third eye with bangs, he has not yet concealed his true self. At present, she is still a kind little girl, both inside and outside. Will not pretend yet. By the way, do you have any talents? Just telling jokes is not enough. Pudding smiled innocently, looking forward to it. Hashirama scratched his head naively and said, I can plant trees, yes, big trees, many big trees. Jiraiya proudly said, I can write books, and sales have always been the emperor, the first. Anything else? Little Pudding was disappointed. One is farming and planting trees, the other is writing and painting. How should this be performed? Thinking of the gifts prepared by his brothers and sisters, Pudding felt inferior again. Seeing what? Hashirama raised his hand and smiled. Look, I planted trees like this. Wow, that's amazing. Little Pudding's eyes are bright again. A sapling emerged from the ground, and then turned into a tree of several meters, which is eye-catching. The ability to raise a hand to make a tree. Great. Mom was worried about the greening of Cake Island. Come with me. Pudding clenched his fists excitedly. Can't wait to take Hashirama to the tea party center. The center is full of decent people from all over the place, and the others belong to the Charlotte family. The 2 people, others rarely care about Little Pudding. But Katakuri cared very much for every younger sibling and subordinate. Which force are you from? When Hashirama and the 2 were taken to the center, Katakuri had to come forward to ask, and by the way, he guarded the small cloth ball behind him. Obviously, the whole body is full of flaws, ordinary, but I have a dangerous feeling. Katakuri looked more and more wrong. The 2 dressed casually and moved casually, just like their own garden. Can a small person be calm in front of so many big people, without changing his face? I remember, you are the 2 adults of CPO, it's been a long time. Just as Jiraiya was about to say something, Morgans laughed and walked over. Wow, the audience was in an uproar. Katakuri's eyes narrowed. What are you doing here? The evidence is there, and he didn't doubt anything. This is reasonable. Directly exclude the empires. The empire is so overbearing, How could there be a strong man who looks so angry? So, CP0 is fine. Mom said that it takes time to consider. Is the world government already weak and can't wait to find foreign aid? Katakuri asked sharply. Hashirama sat down casually and continued to eat dessert. Jiraiya shrugged and said, you know it. Jiraiya glanced at Morgans. They didn't want to hide anything, they just came here for a tour and took a home by the way. This guy, it's really going to happen. Wait until the tea party is over. Katakuri didn't care about the two of them anymore. Immediately turned around and shouted in a deep voice. Welcome mother. For a time, the audience was solemn. Yesterday, the gate inside the castle of Cake Island opens. Walking out of a tall, obese woman with a pirate hat, pink long hair and a pink dress, there was laughter. Well, are all the people I invited here? It's so happy. One of the three overlords of New World. Queen of the Kingdom of Toto Land. Charlotte Linlin. Seeing the auntie, Hashirama almost spouted out the cake and murmured. It's so fat and tall, it must be heavy. How many poor and helpless men she has to crush to give birth to so many children. Chapter 94. I, Hashirama, want to plant a tree full of Cake Island, angry ant. Advertisement. This guy, Yu. Hearing Hashirama muttering behind him, Katakuri frowned. Although it is true, are you polite? Don't say that, Mom. Pudding puffed up angrily and stared at Hashirama fiercely. Although the ant doesn't like her, even hates her, and indulges many people to bully her, Xiao Buksho is still a little girl who longs for maternal love. He is dead. Many people around were also startled again and again, for fear of being implicated by the angry ant. Am I wrong? Looking at the blameless faces, Hashirama felt aggrieved. Under everyone's confusion, Hashirama squatted directly on the ground and drew circles, full of decadence. What the hell is going on in this world? I won't let you tell the truth, Madara, I'm so sad. Originally, I wanted to announce my identity and introduce what is the Imperial Marshal. Now it seems. Just forget it. Well, what's wrong with you? To the shock of Pudding and others, Charlotte Linlin seemed to have not heard it, and still smiled happily. Is this wrong? Katakuri frowned slightly. Although it's a tea party now, my mother is very easy to talk when she is happy. But it is not easy to talk to this level. Hashirama's words are an insult to her mother, but her mother doesn't care. Has a problem. Katakuri is thoughtful. Observed that all the people in the distance looked suspicious. About 10 meters away, Jiraiya said casually. Don't guess, no matter how strong you see and hear, no matter how good your ears are, people 10 meters away have not heard Lord Hashirama's words just now. Yes, that's good. The fruit is more capable, and Katakuri doesn't care what Hashirama is capable of, as long as it doesn't annoy her mother. I warn you, stop saying those silly things. Katakuri put on a serious attitude that I would stare at you, then turned and respectfully said, Mom, it's nothing, they are just so surprised to see you. Well, really. Charlotte Linlin was a little happier, and opened her hands. Welcome everyone to my tea party. Let's eat as much as you like. When the ant opened her mouth, everyone cheered and agreed, making Cake Island even more lively. Master Hashirama, get up. Looking at Hashirama who was still decadent, Jiraiya used Lingxi to spread the voice. Oh, Hashirama got up listlessly, sat on the table, turned depression into appetite, and continued to eat dessert. Jiraiya then Lingxi said, this woman is very strange. Didn't the information given by White Zetsu say that she is very brutal and bloodthirsty? How can she laugh like a simple little girl? Who knows? The voice of Hashirama Lingxi replied, it should be a split personality. Look at her soul, there are countless remnants of the soul. At this time Jiraiya also looked over. The ant's soul Madara is mixed, with the soul stamina of countless people, and it is extremely dirty. Every 6 months, all residents in the waters of the world will pay the ant for 1 month's soul life in exchange for their own safety. Coupled with the soul that the ant has taken away for decades, God knows how many people's soul power is contaminated in the ant's soul. It's a waste of soul and soul fruit to put it on her body, even her own soul will not be cleaned up, it's too dirty. Jiraiya said that the fruit of the soul has been spoiled. At this time, the King of Darkness, such as the King of Darkness, and some people with faces and faces gave gifts one after another. Well, they are all my favorite treasure chests. Charlotte Linlin looked at the treasure chests and couldn't stop laughing. Katakuri and others also prepared gifts and stepped forward one after another. Where is your gift? Pudding looked nervously at Hashirama and Jiraiya. Tea party. As long as you participate, no matter who you are, you must offer gifts. This is the rule. You guys don't bring gifts, do you? Seeing the weird expressions of the two, Pudding was about to cry anxiously, his eyes were full of mist. You promised me to show my mother, but you will definitely have something wrong if you don't have a gift. Wait first, I'll find 2 treasure chests for you. Seeing Pudding turn around and leave, Hashirama sighed with emotion. I didn't expect that woman would have such a kind daughter. 5 years old little Pudding. Even if the disguise can't hide from Hashirama, let alone she has no disguise, she is very simple. We brought it. Little Pudding had just walked 2 steps when he heard Hashirama's words and turned to look. 2 boxes appeared in Hashirama's hands and said with a chuckle, what's inside is a surprise. That's great. That's all right. When everyone finishes offering, you follow me to see Mom. Little Pudding also has a treasure chest in his hand, eyes flickering, full of expectation. Own treasure chest. Adding 2 is very interesting, one of them will raise his hand to show people who plant big trees. Mom will definitely be happy. Master Hashirama, you really know how to play, what should I do if this little girl cries for a while? Jiraiya Lingxi spread the voice. Senju Hashirama replied casually. Too naive and kind, not suitable for survival in a cruel world. Without us, she would release the devil in her heart. Although Hashirama is confused, but very wise. Pudding's low self-esteem and forgetfulness were revealed from time to time, and occasionally he spoke cautiously, obviously not having a good time. All the year round, there is a heart disease, and a major change in personality is possible. Jiraiya's jaws glanced at the aunt who was laughing happily, and couldn't help but marvel in her heart. This woman can really give birth. Recall what White Zetsu recorded. Currently, Charlotte Linlin has 37 daughters, 43 sons, and 40 husbands, of which there are 120 people. Advertisement. There are also sons and daughters who get married and have children. There are even more grandchildren. Nearly 200 of them have her blood. I'm only 56 years old now. With her physique, she will definitely have more children and grandchildren in the coming years. OMG. Jiraiya felt his scalp numb. This woman is too outrageous, which man can hold it? Jiraiya didn't dare to write novels like that. If he dared to write about a woman and dozens of men, he would definitely be blocked by the imperial literary world. It's time for us. Seeing all the guests, brothers and sisters retreating, Pudding became excited for a moment and became nervous. Mom, this is a gift I prepared. When little Pudding stepped forward, he felt a lot of disgusting eyes. There are even a few of her brothers and sisters. Little Pudding held back tears, her third eye had suffered too much by Akugan. Leave if you don't want to see it. Katakuri gave a low voice, his eyes sharply sweeping over the brothers and sisters who hated Pudding. He wants to protect all his brothers and sisters, but there are always a few who have no brains, learn the bad things of his mother, and even bully his own family. This makes Katakuri very tired. Well, I like it very much. The aunt took Pudding's treasure chest. Even if she doesn't like Pudding, she doesn't care when she is happiest now. Mom, just be happy. Seeing the aunt laughing, Pudding suddenly forgot his troubles, and smiled very sweetly. Mom, have you seen them? They talk so funny, one of them will plant many big trees out of thin air, which is very powerful. Plant a big tree out of thin air. Charlotte Linlin looked at it curiously, and suddenly laughed. Well, that's a rare ability. 0. Look for flowers. Katakuri said immediately. Mom, Morgan said they are CPO people, Pudding is still young and naive, you. Well, aren't the people at CPO better? They brought gifts. The aunt said a little seriously, and immediately let Katakuri shut her mouth. Immediately turned on the sight and hearing, and looked at Hashirama and Jiraiya vigilantly at all times. Although the aunt has the intention to cooperate with the world government, she must be on guard no matter whether she cooperates or not. These two guys. At the next moment, Katakuri frowned and saw his faux pas. At present, 36-year-old Katakuri has the highest level of experience and beauty. Due to excessive cultivation of this ability, he has reached the state where he can see the future. It only takes a moment. You can watch the development of the next period of time. Connected. Hashirama picked up 2 treasure chests and threw them away at a distance. Too arrogant. Cracker and other children couldn't help but glared. But they dare not touch the treasure chest that will belong to the aunt at will. With such a gesture, the happy aunt didn't care much, so she raised her hand and grabbed it. Grabbing 2 treasure chests with one hand, ripples of air waved from the touch. Well, it's the first time I received a gift from CPO. The aunt was happier, she couldn't wait to open the treasure chest to see what the treasure was inside. Everyone also looked sideways. Big news that will shake the world. Morgan's not far away was already shaking with excitement, ready to shoot. As a member of the Imperial Intelligence Department, Morgan's would not think that Hashirama and Jiraiya came to congratulate him. He saw the sign of the ant's runaway. Wait a moment. Just when the ant was about to unpack the box, she frowned in Katakuri. Hashirama stood up and said casually. Your daughter is very kind, and since I promised her to plant trees for you, I can't break my promise. Everyone can't help but differ. They thought that these 2 people were making a joke with Pudding, but they were real. Well, it's really exciting, so let's get started soon. The ant smiled, already reaching out her hand to try to open the 2 treasure chests. Your knowledge is good. Hashirama glanced at Katakuri, his hands clasped together. Seeing and hearing color is a special perception ability with keen 5 senses. Strong seeing and hearing color is more mentally aware, but as long as the interference is strong enough, your seeing and hearing color will also be invalid. What's the meaning? Katakuri sensed something wrong, and felt a tyrannical special energy appear. Boom. The terrifying spiritual power came out. Katakuri was shocked. I can't see it. The terrifying spiritual power is like a barrier, strongly disconnecting Katakuri's perception. This is the power of the soul. Charlotte Linlin's pupils shrank, but her hand had already opened the treasure chest. A few words are engraved on an ordinary stone. The Imperial Army join. Damn it. Charlotte Linlin was immediately angry. At the same time, Hashirama's voice was heard. This island is full of cakes and candies, and it is uncomfortable to smell it too much. I'll plant a tree for you. Boom. The whole cake island roared and vibrated. In the horror of countless people, Countless towering trees burst out of thin air from all places, turning Cake Island into a primeval forest in a blink of an eye. Boom! The terrible conquerors erupted. Charlotte Linlin's angry scream rang out from the entire Cake Island. You annoyed my old lady. Go to hell. Chapter 95. Charlotte Linlin, you are the most cold-blooded demon. Advertisement. Heaven is on fire. The sun Prometheus has already flown into the sky, turning into a huge fireball that illuminates the sky incomparably. Quack quack. Countless groups of flames fell from the sky and attacked Hashirama and Jiraiya below. Flame jet. Charlotte Linlin did not stand still, looking at the towering forest that destroyed all the buildings on Cake Island, raising her hand, turning the flame into a whip, chaotic everywhere. Pieces of trees were shattered and burned. 800 shields of spiritual power. Senju Hashirama's spiritual power bloomed when he raised his hand, and a huge transparent spiritual power shield rose out of thin air. Surrounded by layers. Boom boom boom. The sky was full of flames, shattering hundreds of spiritual shields in a blink of an eye, but it also dissipated with the roar. Yes, a little pet can crush me 100 shields. With that, Hashirama looked at the furious ant who kept pushing the forest across, and suddenly smiled. Do you think you destroy fast, or I make it? Boom. The ground shook again. Countless towering trees will refill the destroyed places, and the trees are covered with layers of spiritual power to block the flames. Ha 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 ha. Big news, this is really big news. Morgans flew up. Facing the aerial photography of Cake Island, the original colorful island was a green. No building is intact. Damn it. Damn CP0, do you want to go to war? Climbing out of the shattered building ruins, Cracker roared. Smokey, Perispero, 167, and Owen and others glared. Jiraiya shrugged and said, we never said that we are a CPO, we just came here for a tour and a pirate group, it's that simple. What, not a CPO? Morgans. Katakuri looked at the sky coldly, he was the one who misled himself. Sorry, everyone. Under the shock of the Sea King and other underground kings, Morgans in the sky tore off his coat, revealing the Empire emblem on his clothes. I joined the Imperial Intelligence Department 7 years ago, serving for the Great Holy Emperor. Morgans said proudly, he could finally look at these dark underground kings with contempt. UB ************** D. The Ocean King and others were angry. They are angry that they clearly joined the Empire, why didn't they say it earlier? Why not bring them? We also want to join the Empire. Especially the Sea King Umit's eyes are red at the moment, and he is desperate. He had despised the powerhouse of the Empire before, and he must be dead. Don't think of me that way, I have the World Economic News, I can bring value to the Imperial Intelligence Department, how about you? Morgans flew up and down in the sky, full of disdain, transport slaves. Build warehouses to hide children. Give loan sharks. Make coffin boards. Trash is not worthy of being as famous as me. Damn it. In an instant, the 4 Marine Kings killed them one after another with tricks. Good job. Morgans is not afraid. His 7 years were not in vain. Kill the kings of the 4 dark worlds today to prove his loyalty to the Holy Empire. Cake. My cake. After Charlotte Linlin was furious, she felt sore in her stomach and desperately wanted to eat sweets. But it was all ruined. Let Charlotte Linlin be on the verge of falling into madness at any time. No, Mom is going to have an attack. Glancing at the ant. Katakuri, who was still stable, and Pudding, who was sluggish and confused, were all sweating profusely. What's the situation? Hashirama and Jiraiya, who were about to do it, were surprised when the ant suddenly ignored them. Leave. After Hashirama regained his spiritual power, Katakuri's sense of seeing and hearing recovered, as if he had seen something extremely frightening, and roared, everyone, leave. Cracker and others flew back crazy immediately, full of horror. Smokey, go and call the long loaf to bring the cake over, hurry up. Yes, brother Katakuri. Smokey turned and ran away. Is it, cravings? Looking at the Cake Island in a mess. Jiraiya recalled the information given by White Zetsu, with a weird look. Like, desserts like this to the point, I'll serve them. The ant suffers from phagocytosis and will have episodes from time to time. Once it happens, it will fall into madness, smash it everywhere, and destroy it everywhere. In this state, 6 relatives did not recognize it. Kill all sons. IQ is 0, will not dodge and defend, attack indiscriminately. It's useless to say anything. Only let her eat the delicacy she wants to eat, there is no other way to restore her sanity. Even if there is no craziness, she is still a lunatic. Senju Hashirama said, the sole life of all residents in the waters of all nations is light. Countries where desserts are produced. The desserts made are a little bit short or slow, and the country will be destroyed immediately, and everyone will die. Boom. Having never found the cake she wanted, Charlotte Linlin was completely insane. Ah, the strange sound roared, and the terrifying sound wave resounded through the whole Cake Island. The sound wave swept like thunder, and the ground and trees were cracking wherever it passed. Ah, in an instant, there was a sound of pain, and the Charlotte family and many people attending the tea party teared their eardrums. Many people were roared to death by the strange sound, and they were splashed with blood. Opella, get away. Foreseeing something, Katakuri yelled and punched immediately. Roasted rice cakes. Katakuri's hands are turned into rice cakes, and the color of the arms is wrapped to compress the red heat. Woo, like a rocket launcher, a ball of rice cakes blasted towards the ant. Boom. The crazy ant didn't have any defense and avoidance at all, and smashed Katakuri's rice cake in a rampage. Mom, mom, mom. Looking at the ant who came in front of him like crazy. Paramesha Butterfruit, the fifth son Charlotte Opella was unable to move in horror. Frightened all over the cream. But in the eyes of Charlotte Linlin, Opella, a cream fruit ability. Advertisement. It is the most delicious meal. Mom, don't. Katakuri shouted, and rushed over as he continued to attack. He wanted to stop it. Cake, cake. The ant, who the six relatives did not recognize, was full of madness, and blasted out with a fierce punch. Boom. Opella has no resistance. He was blasted into the pit with a punch, vomiting blood repeatedly, and was hit hard on the spot. Splashes of cream all over the body. The people who had fled at the tea party had a startled glance, and they were suddenly cold. Tear. In the horror of countless people, the ant directly ignored Katakuri's attack block, stretched out her hand to grab Opal, and shredded it fiercely. As if torn apart. Cake wrapped in cream. Crack. When the ant threw Opella into her mouth and ate it greedily. The audience was silent. Silent. Quote. Oh, Opella he. Seeing this scene, everyone in the Charlotte family's brains went blank. How so? If the first four sons of Katakuri, Daifuku and Owen were expressionless for a moment. The sons and daughters of Un, Nuge, Pudding and others, who were less than 10 years old, cried instantly. Quote. Ah, which one is it? As the big brother, Peros Puro murmured dully. He is a very fond of his younger brothers and sisters, and very optimistic. Even if the arm is broken, he would still laugh at himself. But at this moment, Perospero was desperate for life, and there was a thought that it would be fine if his mother died. It's the sixth one, my dear brothers and sisters, don't you know? Ha 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 ha, this is your sixth relative who died. Perospero also smiled with anger, hysterical zero. My so-called mother, you killed my 4 younger brothers and 2 younger sisters. All your biological sons and daughters who were killed by you have been coldly and ruthlessly removed from the family after you recover. Many younger siblings don't even know they existed. One by one candy smashed from Perospero towards the ant, snarling heartbreakingly. Never use your thinking about eating disorder as a reason for you to harm your family. I've had enough. You don't deserve to be my mother. Wow. The Ocean King and others who were fighting Morgans were shocked. How dare he say that? Perospero, are you crazy? You will die. The long loaf ran over with the cake now, and shouted angrily. As the long loaf who raised Charlotte Linlin from the age of 6, he knows the ant's character too well. Don't say that the 6 relatives don't recognize it now. Even after regaining his sanity, if he knew that Perospero said so, he would definitely die. Katakuri, stop your elder brother if you don't want him to die. The long loaf snorted and threw the finished cake directly at the ant. Linlin, your cake is here. Cake, cake. Smelling the cake, the ant turned around and sprayed her blood out. Brother, you are tired, rest. Katakuri attacked Perospero with an expressionless face, knocking him out in a flash. Hashirama and Jiraiya, looking at it plainly from beginning to end, there is no wave in my heart. Until Charlotte Linlin's sanity began to recover. Jiraiya opened the mouth and said, Master Hashirama, I don't think the Imperial Medical College and the Academy of Sciences will waste time to treat schizophrenia. You're right. Hashirama changed his stupidity and said calmly, look at Charlotte Linlin. Crazy eater, angry and destroy the country. Crazy and bloodthirsty, fathish and addicted to food. Except for knowing to eat and have children, inside and out, it's useless. Hashirama's voice echoed over Cake Island. The members of the Charlotte family were sluggish again, and their heads were full of comments from Hashirama. If before, there are glaring words, all are silent at the moment. I'm actually on my mother. Apart from strength, I can't find any advantages. Katakuri was also confused. He had met Whitebeard and treated every subordinate like his own son. I have also seen Kaido, who is the most inaccurate tyrant on the sea. Cruel, bloodthirsty. In Katakuri's view, Kaido 5.9 is moody though. But his personality is easygoing and informal. Even if he is confronted by his subordinates, he doesn't care. Even if his subordinates fail in their missions, they will not be blamed. At most one sentence of waste. After all, that's the truth. Kaido is only cruel to outsiders, and is more tolerant to all talents. Only Mother, who regards herself as an innocent and kind little princess, is actually the coldest blood and ruthless demon. Katakuri is also devilish. He shook his head severely. Unforgivable. When the ant eats the cake. After regaining sanity. He didn't pay any attention to the remains of the fifth son at all, and once again became angry about the damage to Cake Island. I don't care who you are from the Holy Empire, dare to destroy Cake Island. Even if the Lord of the Empire is here, I have to die for the old lady. Charlotte Linlin roared and turned the double-horned hat on Napoleon into a giant sword. Emperor Sword Broken Blade. Charlotte Linlin came to the front of Hashirama in an instant, and slashed the broad knife that was entwined with flames. Click. 100 floors. 500 layers. There were still more than 600 layers of spiritual shields, which were directly shattered by her and pointed at Hashirama. His Majesty, falsehood, seek death. Hashirama looked indifferent. A bloody murderous aura that made countless people's hearts palpitated came into his body. Chapter 96. Jiraiya vs Desert 4 stars, Desperate Brothers and Sisters Cannibalism. Advertisement. Boom. The terrible Reiatsu is mixed with blood-red murderous intent, turning into a soaring beam to reach the sky. What? Tyrannical momentum. Like an irresistible barrier of repulsive force, it suddenly pushed forward. As Charlotte Linlin's pupils shrank, the long knife was directly shaken off, and her body was also subjected to a terrifying impact like a meteorite. Boom boom boom. The fat body turned into a small meteor, smashing a forest all the way, and smashing into the ruins fiercely. Boom. The whole Cake Island presents a doomsday scene. There was a vast hole in the sky above, the void was neighing, and Cake Island was overwhelmed with shaking. When Hashirama took a step forward, with a deafening cracking sound, something shocked everyone in the Charlotte family. Boom. The whole Cake Island. Under this vast momentum, it cracked directly like glass, and a series of bottomless abyss cracks appeared. Eventually, it broke. Thump thump. One by one, the sound of falling to the ground sounded. The tables, chairs, trees and other low-level and intermediate-level hormats that were infused with soul by the ant were all souls shattered to the ground. People attending the tea party. 99% of them died instantly. Puff cough cough. Katakuri Curry and others knelt and coughed, coughing up nothing, their eyes looked at the broken Cake Island with horror. The entire island was broken into dozens of pieces. The turbulent waves filled the cracks in the abyss frantically, drawing many people at the edge of the fragments into the sea. The most shocking to the remnants. People who fell like 07 weeds were all silent. Guru. The most painful cracker. Feeling the tingling sensation from the soul, he felt that he was going to die, and his heart was terrified. The momentum shattered the island and killed countless people. Smokey's eyes became dull as if he had seen a dream monster. It's scary, it's scary. The most advanced Homats, Prometheus, Zeus, and Napoleon huddled together, their anthropomorphic expressions were full of fear. Cake Island. In addition to shock and fear. Almost silent. Until Jiraiya's surprised voice sounded. That woman was not shaken to death, right, she can still move. Jiraiya clearly perceives it. All Reiatsu of Hashirama was released just now, but more than 90% of them fell on the ant. Otherwise on the island, no life will survive. There is a huge gap between their soul strength and Hashirama. Her soul is not weak. Hashirama said, walking towards the ant's place, ignoring the broken island, the raging waves, and walking on the ground. See here. Jiraiya scanned the people who were still alive on the broken islands, and disappeared. When Jiraiya fell, Katakuri Curry, Snug, Smokey and Cracker are extremely guarded. Dessert. 4 general stars. Jiraiya looked at it and said flatly, if I shoot, I will definitely see the corpse. Which one do you decide to die? Snug, go back. Seeing what? Katakuri Curry burst into a loud shout, with Conqueror's tyrannical blooming on his body. Seeing that I want to attack him. Hearing these words, Jiraiya became interested and raised his hand to Snug. Small divine destruction. Chop and cut rice cakes. Katakuri Curry carried the trident, his right arm suddenly swelled into a hideous mace shape, while covering armament hockey and rotating, extending and getting longer. Furiously hit Jiraiya from one side. Boom. Snag immediately drew out the long knife behind him, covered it with his armed color, and slashed towards lightning-like destruction. Cleave to pieces with one knife. Boom. Jiraiya's spiritual power wrapped his fist and directly collided with the incoming rice cake. In an instant, Katakuri Curry and Jiraiya were shocked by each other's strength at the same time. You can fight. The eyes of Smokey and Cracker, as well as Owen and Dafu, etc. brightened. Just when Jiraiya came over, they were frightened, because Hashirama's momentum just now was so terrifying that they lost all courage to fight. This makes them think that Jiraiya is also a powerful and upturned existence. But they were interrupted by Snag and Katakuri Curry one after another, giving them full confidence. It seems to be underestimated. Jiraiya smiled carelessly. Ka, Takuli said solemnly. Take it all seriously, spread out and shoot together. Swipe it. The 6 separated, and Owen even ran to the edge of the broken, behind which was the sea. Scrap. After transpiring the fruit, Daifuku rubbed his body and appeared a lamp demon made of smoke. As soon as it came out, it issued a powerful slashing blow from top to bottom. Cookie Soldier. The cracker ability of Biscuit Fruit was activated, and an almost endless army of Biscuit appeared behind him. It is extremely hard, even if it is broken, it can be repaired instantly, turning into a sea and rushing past. Fried things and cut them. Snug swung his knife in the air. A series of flying slashes turned into a big net and headed towards Jiraiya to cover it. Juicing. Smokey, who was squeezing the fruit, squeezed enough water from the ground with a sword and swung it out. The sharp drops of water turned into large-scale rain-like slashes. Zitsa. At the same time, the sea on the edge of the broken island boiled, and the surrounding temperature rose linearly. Atami Wanlai. To heat the fruit, Owen heats the temperature of the sea and turns into dozens of high hot water pillars, coming from above. The biggest feature of the hot water column is to track the opponent like a positioning missile. Wow. Katakuri Curry did not do anything, but directly opened the fruit awakening. The special Paramesha glutinous fruit transforms everything in the body into rice cakes. You can perceive the limit of seeing, hearing, and color, and you can attack at any time. Weird ability. Advertisement. Faced with simultaneous attacks from the front, back, left, and right, Jiraiya moved. Mirror Cake Group. Before Jiraiya moved, Katakuri Curry instantly manipulated the rice cake to squeeze it past. A huge range of attempts to seal Jiraiya in the rice cake. Foreseeing the future is really troublesome. Jiraiya murmured back to the place, and was directly overwhelmed by the attacks from all sides. Boom boom boom. The broken island shook. In the surprise of Cracker and others, Katakuri yelled, "Hurry up!" Kata coolly manipulated large pieces of rice cakes to defend himself, and also tried to help his younger brothers and sisters to resist. Not good, yes. Just blocking the rice cake in front of Smokey, Katakuri seemed to see something, and his pupils widened a bit. Late. Jiraiya's low drink came from the dust. End Eucharist love of God. Reiatsu burst out. Dust away directly. Feeling Jiraiya's Reiatsu up close, everyone's movements are stagnant. Love is lost. Swish swish. Dozens of blue arrows showing heart-shaped arrows swayed out like a rain of bullets. Buzzing. A dozen ways of the destruction of love are lost to resist the rice cakes covering Katakuri and Smokey. There are hundreds of others. Falling on all the people of Broken Island, such as Daifuku and Owen, who had their bodies stagnated. Brother Katakuri. Smokey's voice was full of doubts. The other party released such a strong momentum and sky full of attacks, why didn't the defensive rice cake be broken? Seeing and hearing color perception. Snug and others were also unscathed. No, okay. Cracker was in a trance for a moment. Those arrows did not explode, but fell into the sea like water droplets. From the only exposed hand that covered his biscuit armor, merged into his body. Smoggy, run away. Shocked in Smokey, Katakuri pulled off the tangled scarf, revealing sharp teeth. When I was young, I broke my mouth from eating donuts, and now my face is covered with seam scars. But Smokey was not shocked. No matter what Katakuri was her brother, Katakuri's expression was full of bitterness and pain. Brother, what's wrong with you? In Smokey's heart, Katakuri has always been composed and calm. Now it seems that the emotions are out of control. Escape. Run away. Katakuri yelled again, even swept across with rice cakes, throwing Smokey onto another piece of broken island. Let Smoggy escape. This broken island of pain and despair. It seems that foreseeing the future is not a good thing, and I feel despair in advance. Jiraiya stood in the air, wings with eyes grew on his back, Reiatsu swept away. So, feel my love. Quack quack. At the moment Jiraiya's words fell, Cracker and others attacked Katakuri one after another. Damn it. What Katakuri saw was this scene, all his younger brothers were like puppets, attacking him frantically. 183. Under the influence of the sacred text of Jiraiya, love, Owen and others will completely obey and be controlled by Jiraiya. A living puppet that can explode with all its strength. What do I do? Katakuri evaded again and again. Owen and the others are all crazy, attacking one by one more fiercely. He completely regarded him as the enemy of life and death. Shueyu glutinous rice. Katakuri didn't want to hurt himself. Keep the distance. Turn the rice cake into hundreds of huge rice cake sticks and attack the Jiraiya in the sky. Devil slash. Hot fist. Roll pretzel. Daifuku and Owen attacked the rice cakes, and Cracker and others attacked Katakuri frantically. Cracker, wake up. Katakuri had to defensively resist, bursting out conquerors shouting. Hot slash. Devil cut. Fluctuations pretzel. Boom boom boom. But Cracker and others still attacked like crazy. Katakuri was bitter and desperate. If this continues, either he will kill his brothers, or his brothers will kill him. Moisture sword. A huge pink blow attacked from another fragmented island. Open the abyss and see all the way. Brother Katakuri, I'll help you stop them, you go and attack that person. By absorbing water molecules, Smokey turned into a giant tens of meters. Jumped over like a hill. Good. Katakuri's eyes sharpened. They are completely crazy, be careful. It must be alive. Hearing this, Smokey smiled brightly. Don't worry, brother Katakuri. Sky's Jiraiya raised her brow slightly. Muttered in my heart. Brothers and sisters, I'm good or bad. At this time, the sky in the distance. A white cloud with blinking crimson eyes floated, and two women sat on it. The Reiatsu I just felt is here, much better than the concubine. Of course, the small pillar is not comparable to you. Chapter 97. BIGMOM ends here. Otsutsuki Kagaya grabs the head. Advertisement. Well, that's how it is. When Jiraiya played against Katakuri and others, Hashirama also crossed several broken islands and came to the ant's place. The foot just hit the ground. Then came Charlotte Linlin's murderous sneer. My old mother is here, the smell of soul. Weird power. A fat and tall figure suddenly rushed out of the ruins, like a pink mountain rushing. Jump off for the old lady. Charlotte Linlin slammed into the Hashirama below. The two figures are quite different. Hashirama raised his head and looked at the fist that fell like a small house, and he also punched outright. Boom. Fists collide. A fierce air wave came in the middle, smashing all the towering trees of Hashirama on the small island. Okay, so powerful. The long loaf peeking in the far corner widened his eyes. It was the first time he saw someone who took Linlin's punch so lightly. Mind and physical skills. Spiritual. The core of the current imperial cultivation system has become stronger in all directions without any defects, and is approaching the hexagonal warrior. Body and soul are our foundation. This is what Lan Yu said to his subordinates. In Lan Yu's view, a stronger body can carry a stronger soul. While the soul is strong, physical fitness must keep up. Nice power. Senju Hashirama's hands are surrounded by layers of spiritual power, and he looks up at the dignified ant. Your soul is not weak. In Hashirama's perception, Charlotte Linlin's soul strength is not weaker than Jiraiya. This is the accumulation of the souls of countless people for decades. It's just a pity. Charlotte Linlin is like a man in the martial arts world who has moves but no internal power. Unable to bring out her powerful soul power. Your soul is delicious. Close contact. Charlotte Linlin has ultimate greed in her heart. In her eyes, although she couldn't see through Hashirama's soul, she felt the pure soul delicacy. Eat him, eat him. Charlotte Linlin seemed to have a little devil in her heart, telling her that as long as she eats Hashirama, her strength can increase exponentially. At that time, one person will push the world horizontally. Thunder and fire crit. Charlotte Linlin's power exploded again, entangled with a large amount of flames and electricity, and smashed down with a fist. Boom. Hashirama didn't hide, but the ground couldn't bear the terrifying force and collapsed directly. The body was short and collapsed in. Chance. Charlotte Linlin's eyes lit up. Boom. Charlotte Linlin urged the power of the soul fruit to its limit, and even squeezed the soul power that he had accumulated all the year round. Well, surrender your soul. Charlotte Linlin gave a bloodthirsty and cruel smile and grabbed Hashirama imaginarily. Soul spell. Originally, this trick was to make a ruling through questioning. Even if the other party felt a trace of fear, the soul would be taken away in an instant. But when she consumed all the accumulated soul power, the soul spell qualitatively changed. Burst out all soul power. Just to grab the soul of Hashirama and devour it. What happened? The next moment came Charlotte Linlin's suspicious voice. I catch. Charlotte Linlin waved constantly like a madman. But she felt like an ordinary person moving a mountain, unable to shake Hashirama's soul at all. Caught a loneliness. You want to take my soul? Standing in the pothole, looking up at the fat hands waving back and forth, Hashirama wanted to say, are you sick? It consumes all the power of the soul. Just to make me laugh, I have to say that I am very moved. This antics made Hashirama smile, and then he said in a low voice. The frog at the bottom of the well. See how big the world is. Boom. Senju Hashirama's Reiatsu crushed Charlotte Linlin's soul like a tsunami. This moment, Charlotte Linlin's body couldn't move at all, and there was a kind of horror in her eyes that she had never had before. Before Hashirama broke out Reiatsu, she had countless people's soul power and she could resist it. After exhausting it at this moment, she felt a great horror. Like a strand of ants, she can only look up at Hashirama, a terrifying mountain. Impossible. Charlotte Linlin screamed in disbelief at her weakness. She felt that her soul would collapse at any time and die completely. Unorganized consumption of the soul power you have accumulated all the year round, self-defeating. A long and narrow spiritual blade appeared in Senju Hashirama's hand, swinging the knife and falling. Puff. This knife. It directly tore off Charlotte Linlin's steel balloon-like tough body. Strongly cut off his right hand. Cut off the soul in her hand. Ah! Charlotte Linlin let out a heart-piercing scream, and the pain of a broken soul made her unbearable. Like a madman, rolling around in place, constantly roaring. Mother! Kata Curry and others exclaimed. They had never heard Charlotte Linlin scream so miserably. Your will is too weak. Hashirama glanced at the rolling Charlotte Linlin, a little surprised. Surprised at her fragile will. Only one hand was broken, and people who didn't know thought she was farewelled by 1,000 swords. Charlotte Linlin has never been injured since she was a child, and she doesn't even need to practice to get stronger. Fight hard. Hurt. These things basically never happened to her, unlike Kaido and others who crawled out of the pile of corpses. The will has never been tempered. Pilly. At this time, Zeus flew over. Advertisement. A thunderbolt fell on Charlotte Linlin, waking her up. Thunder. Charlotte Linlin, who was a little awake, turned over and exploded with a shout. The sky was exploding, and countless thunder and lightning fell from the sky, violently attacking Hashirama. Heaven is on fire. The sun, Prometheus, flew to assist with Zeus, and a large, fiery ball of fire smashed down crazily. In an instant, the entire broken island was enveloped by billions of thunder and flames. Napoleon flew in the double-horned hat, and fell into Charlotte Linlin's left hand and turned into a long knife, and Conquerors was also on the move. The gun of Elbaf Weo, slashing like a huge beam of light, rolled out violently, piercing through the void, and swept straight towards Hashirama. Boom. The broken island collapsed instantly. The surrounding seas are shattering, setting off a series of magnificent waves rushing towards the broken islands of other Cake Islands. Mother. This was like a natural disaster in the last days, which surprised Smokey and others. The worries in my heart finally let go. It's Thunder Flame. Is she the strongest woman in Qinghai? Curious and unconvinced voices came from the white clouds with crimson eyes high in the sky. As far as the concubine knows, she is not. What? Is there a woman stronger than her? Yes, it must be a concubine. Quote. It's not you, but from her talent, she should be the strongest woman in Qinghai. Really? Humph. According to the information collected by White Zetsu, Charlotte Linlin is indeed the most talented woman in Qinghai. At 5 years old, exiled to Elbaf for being too big and destroying his hometown. Hit the giant bear with one punch and severely wound a giant child. And Kazuki Odin, who threw grandma flying at the age of 0, and killed the giant bear with a rock at the age of 4, are both representatives of the opening. But at 6 years old, if you miss it, kill Jorel with one punch. Jorel, the world's most powerful country Elbaf elder, hero of the giant tribe, the captain of the original giant pirate regiment, the world's highest ridge warrior. This series of titles. He was killed by the 6-year-old Linlin. Ah! After the attack, Charlotte Linlin screamed again in pain and bloodshot eyes on Zeus. His right hand was broken with his soul. Pain. It hurts too much. The weak-willed Charlotte Linlin gave birth to a kind of suicide immediately, and then relieved this painful thought. Hey! Hashirama flew out of the sea and landed steadily on the surface, unharmed. Zeitza. Seeing Hashirama appeared, Zeus kept thundering and awakened Charlotte Linlin's consciousness again. Enough! Don't call me anymore. Charlotte Linlin yelled, making Zeus' expression full of fear. Storm. Charlotte Linlin instantly created a large storm, mixed with lightning and thunder. Tsunami. The power of the soul fruit follows the raindrops into the sea and directly penetrates the soul into the sea. Wow. The sea around the broken island boiled completely, setting off a large tsunami hundreds of meters high, and instantly submerging the forest on the sea. I have to say that soul fruit is a good ability that allows you to manipulate the weather and natural phenomena. What? Charlotte Linlin's pupils shrank, because a loud voice came from behind. Charlotte Linlin turned her head stiffly when she saw the color catching the past. It was a huge wooden golem stepping on the surface of the sea, on which was entwined the terrifying spiritual power that made her heart palpitating. Charlotte Linlin. Stepping on top of wooden golem's head, Senju Hashirama learned that Madara held his arm and spoke flatly. This is the end of your life. At this time, the sea was tumbling. Numerous snake vines of towering giant trees whizzed out from the sea, almost in a blink of an eye, an endless sea of trees and forest covered the sea. Puff chick chick. All the vines are entwined with spiritual power, grow crazily, and rush to the sky. Vines ran through Zeus, coming from all directions to lock Charlotte Linlin in the air. Ah! The spiritual power on the vines constantly invaded Charlotte's soul, causing her consciousness to collapse. Sister, where are you? None, save Linlin. Ooh, come and save Linlin. Hashirama stopped moving. He beat Charlotte Linlin to tears. Among the countless vines, Charlotte Linlin seemed to have become an innocent little girl, crying proudly. Linlin, the nun is here. Longbread shouted on a broken island, holding a photo in her hand. Sister Carmelite asked me, Dino Zhao told you, as long as you can defeat this man, she will come to see you. Really? Under Hashirama frowned. Charlotte Linlin cried and believed directly. Ah! Charlotte Linlin made a horrible strange sound. Whoosh whoosh. The broken souls of Homitsu were shaken to death by Hashirama, as well as the souls of those who died. All are turned into streamers. Converged towards her. The power of the soul is getting stronger and stronger. At this time, there was an incomparably bright light in the sky, as if there was no end in sight of golden light. That is, looking at the place where the golden light attacked, Hashirama's expression was full of weirdness, a black line. Golden wheel reincarnation explodes. Huh. The bright lightsaber slashed across Charlotte Linlin's body directly, and a large amount of blood mist swayed. Boom. The golden lightsaber remained undiminished, and cut the endless sea ahead out of the abyss. Hashirama didn't know what to say. Kagaya-senpai, you. He has been busy for a long time. Isn't this stealing heads? How? White clouds floated over, and Otsutsuki Kagaya's crimson eyes glared at Hashirama, with a ferocious expression. Do you have an opinion? Speak up if you have any comments, I promise not to beat you. The head was robbed. Hashirama suddenly squatted on the wooden golem and drew circles, full of quota. Madara, she bullied me. Chapter 98. The truth of horror and despair, Charlotte Linlin's soul blew up, death. Advertisement. Mother. The golden wheel reincarnation burst through the sea and the audience was silent for a moment. Seeing the red-stained sea surface, Katakuri and others felt that the sky had fallen. Since the end of the Rocks era. In other words, Charlotte Linlin, who has scared countless people since the age of 6, just died in front of her eyes. Didn't even leave the whole body. Interesting. Jiraiya in the sky smiled inexplicably, and raised his hand to revoke the holy text. Love. Buzz. Buzz. Cracker. Owen and others immediately became sober. Looking at himself in confusion, and recalling what had just happened, everyone looked at Jiraiya in horror. Don't look at me, you should look at your mother. Jiraiya said, saluting towards the sky, I have seen Mr. Kagaya. Kagaya nodded slightly, her crimson eyes flickering over the broken cake island below, searching for something. Here again, here again. Hancock on the side didn't know what to say, she didn't understand how Kagaya chose people. Such as in Marineford. Sitting on the white cloud, Kagaya glanced from a distance, immediately flew down, raised his hand and flew Zephyr, turned around and took away. Ayin, Tina. Such as in East Blue East Island. Kagaya was also looking down from a distance, raising her hand from time to time, and one girl after another was brought up. Then leave a sentence. They were taken away by their concubines, whose name was Otsutsuki Kagaya, the Marshal of the Imperial Air Force. Then the Imperial soldiers stationed in Dongjo went to the girl's hometown to give condolences and rewards. There are Shijo, Nanjo, and New World. And now. Hancock watched Kagaya raise his hand again, and a girl about 4 or 5 years old flew up and put in the Naling ring. Why choose them? Didn't the concubine say it? Eyes. Hancock was confused by the gods. Don't say Hancock is confused, even if Lan Yu knew everyone Kagaya chose, he would be surprised. Kagaya's so-called eye margin should be the sublimation of the wisdom accumulated in countless books, breaking the dimensional barrier. Forget it, I don't understand. Lan Yu 207 can't figure out Kagaya's brain circuit either. Suddenly a little girl flew up and disappeared, and also brought back the emotionally complicated Smokey and others to their thoughts. Pudding. Katakuri swore that he was right. The little girl taken away by that horrible woman is his very simple and kind sister Pudding. Give me back Pudding. Are you talking to your concubine? Without waiting for Katakuri to speak, Otsutsuki Kagaya glanced lazily, then raised his hand and waved hockey. Hancock, come on. $7. Quote. Hancock was about to jump down, but was held by Kagaya. Kagaya looked at Hancock with the look of a child, and said with emotion, are you really going? You don't look very smart. Don't call yourself a concubine in the future, okay? Little sister. Hancock turned Byakugan secretly, her Tsunere was defeated by Kagaya, and she had no temper at all. Ha 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 ha, Senior Kagaya, you are careless. Senju Hashirama, who was squatting on the ground and drawing circles because he was robbed of his head, suddenly got up and laughed. Charlotte Linlin, come out. What, Mom is not dead yet? Cracker and others, who were still a little sad, a little excited, a little sad, and a little happy, had their pupils shrunk. For a time, emotions became more complicated. She really isn't dead yet. Jiraiya fell, scanning the audience calmly and said, are you suddenly happy? Choose, kneel and surrender, or continue to shout to your mother. The audience was silent again. The big brother Perospero, who didn't know when he woke up, smiled extremely optimistically. My stupid brothers and sisters, what else do you think? Come with me. Kneel and surrender. Charlotte Perospero knelt directly on the ground, smiling strangely. Brother, you, what Cracker was trying to say. Seeing what he was seeing, Katakuri knelt down silently, bowed his head and said in a low voice, if you still recognize him as the eldest brother, kneel down for me. Titicaca. A series of falling to the ground sounded, all kneeling. Puff. Jiraiya raised his hand and it was a beam of light, which directly penetrated the forehead and soul of the long loaf, and spoke plainly again. As you can see, the Charlotte family is so evil, even if they surrender, they must be screamed. At least half dead. Everyone was silent. All refutations are meaningless. Perospero laughed again. It's okay, there are more younger siblings, and some people will always learn from their mothers. But, Perospero narrowed his smile, took out a knife, looked back at Smokey and others, and looked at Jiraiya seriously. All the sins will be borne by my mother and me. This is my trivial request. I'm sorry, it's elder brother I didn't take care of you. Speaking of the last, Perospero looked at Katakuri firmly. You will be the eldest brother from now on, don't let me see you in Wonkwan, I will hate you. Puff. One cut into the heart. When Perospero fell to the ground, Smokey and others were almost crazy. Kneel all to me. Katakuri awakened, and countless rice cakes pressed everyone down. Hashirama and others watched calmly. Whether Perospero is dead or not, please do not ask, the Charlotte family will be purged. Until, Jiraiya looked into the distance and said, I saw you, I just said casually, they are all kneeling. Do you think they are because of the great talents of the empire? If you are really a great mother, I believe they would rather die than kneel. Boom. Where the wreckage of Charlotte Linlin was, a wave of soul energy was shaking. Ah, the power of the fruit of the soul, and the soul moved forward, and completely merged all the Homits on the Cake Island, including the three Zeus, and the souls of all the dead people into the wreckage. And there was a strange sound of horror. Mom, mom, mom. Advertisement. Looking at the front, many people were frightened again. The fear that the ant gave them was too heavy. A phantom in front became more and more real. Soul materialization, Charlotte Linlin. You dare to betray my old mother, you all go to death. Charlotte Linlin's face was full of anger and killing intent, and she walked away completely. What empire? What Hashirama? She wants to kill all Katakuri and others, leaving no one behind. What a concubine has to do, no one can stop it yet. Just when Hashirama was about to do something, Kagaya spoke again. Little pillar, her life, my concubine is in need. Hashirama said calmly. Senior Kagaya, she is now a soul body. Even if it is you, it is very troublesome. Wei Yi is currently working hard to develop her own bloodline, which is still the chakra system. Even if there is a soul-destroying technique, it is still not as good as Hashirama's casual spiritual strike. As a scholar, AHFI is not suitable for concubines. Kagaya's words made Hashirama a black line, and he heard Kagaya chuckle her fingers up and said, witness the power of wisdom, a word from the concubine will kill her. This is impossible. Jiraiya and others do not believe it, and Katakuri and others do not believe it. Hancock was looking forward to it. Kill the old lady in one sentence. Charlotte Linlin stagnated and looked up at Kagaya, sneered, well, this is the most ridiculous joke my old lady has ever heard. She feels very good now. Suddenly, I discovered that the so-called physical body seemed to imprison her. Soul fruit is originally to develop soul power, and all things such as controlling the weather or external forces. I didn't understand before. Now after absorbing countless soul powers to condense the body, and after experiencing Hashirama's spiritual power Reiatsu, Charlotte Linlin understands a little bit. The current me is the strongest state, no one can kill me. Charlotte Linlin has a hunch that if she rushes to the New World Massacre and devours her soul, she will continue to grow stronger. Even, immortality. Do you remember the nun? When Kagaya's voice sounded, Charlotte Linlin's anger and arrogance disappeared. She was surprised and expected. Do you know the nun? Tell Linlin where she is. What the hell? Hashirama was dumbfounded. Linlin has been looking for her for many years, but on that day, Linlin disappeared after waking up. Charlotte Linlin suddenly felt sad. She will never forget when she was 6 years old. On her 6th birthday, she ate ecstasy and crazy eating happily. When she woke up, she found that the nun and her friends had all disappeared, and she also gained the power of soul fruit. In order to create a country that makes the nun happy, she formed a pirate group with long bread. Charlotte Linlin never gave up looking for a nun like her mother in her heart. Sister Carmelite is a trafficker. Impossible. Hearing Kagaya's words, Charlotte Linlin became angry again. You are not allowed to insult the nun, she is the person I respect the most. Ignoring her, Kagaya continued to elegantly say, she collects children everywhere and sells them to the CP organization. She is going to sell you to the world government at a high price. Do you know what she thinks of you? Everyone raised their ears, and Charlotte Linlin was in a daze. Kagaya continued. She said that you are the most talented child she has seen in 50 years. If you are a CP, you will become the strongest shield of celestial dragons. If you are Marine, you must become Marine Marshal, and you must sell it at a high price. You. In a word, a fierce beating on Charlotte Linlin's heart made her about to go crazy. What can come to mind? Charlotte Linlin comforted herself. The fakes are all fakes. The nun even gave me my birthday and left the next day. She didn't sell me. Yes, exactly. This woman lied to me. She just wants to make you happy before selling you, so as to eliminate some of the guilt in her heart. Besides, she's not gone. Kagaya's next sentence. Let Charlotte Linlin go crazy. When you wake up, everyone disappears, but you get the fruit of the soul. Why? Because of you. Eat them all. Boom. Such as the billions of thunders blasted the heart, directly shattering all the beautiful fantasy of Charlotte Linlin. It was before her. The desperate truth is absolutely unacceptable. Charlotte Linlin's soul power advances to the limit, making an ultimate crazy roar. Dead. Die to me. She, Jiraiya and Hashirama, as well as Hancock are surprised, because Charlotte Linlin's soul is constantly bloating. This is, the soul blew up. Boom. Ant's soul exploded. The majestic power of the soul instantly wiped out an island and swept across all directions. Boom boom boom. Hashirama raised his hand to create a spiritual barrier, and roars blew on the barrier. When the roar stopped, Charlotte Linlin, die, body, soul, all annihilated. Really? It's dead in one sentence. Both Jiraiya and Hancock gave Kagaya a look of admiration, full of admiration. On the contrary, Hashirama said straightforwardly, wrong, obviously there are a few sentences, more than a dozen sentences. Shaojuzi, come and come, today I will let you know what respecting the predecessors is. Kagaya stood up from the white cloud, clenched his fists, and beat Hashirama into a pig's head. Hashirama's face suddenly became stern. How can you say that? You are obviously only 18 years old, how can you call yourself a senior? You have to be self-aware, a beautiful girl who is forever 18. Everyone has a black line. The desire to survive is too strong. My concubine doesn't like listening to these big truths. Let's go. Kagaya Tsunere smiled, and turned to leave with Hancock. Hey, Ben, I'm smart. Hashirama also gave a silly smirk, and then squinted again. Charlotte, Linlin is dead, let's clean up. Yes, Lord Hashirama. Chapter 99. Kaido is autistic, and the 4 strongest armies of the Empire arrive at naval headquarters. Advertisement. New world. A desert island. Huh. Kaido was lying on the ground snoring and sleeping, and the animals all over the island were shaking. Softer. Suddenly the ground broke open, and a pale figure appeared. What are you doing? Uchiha Madara sat cross-legged in the void, slowly opened his eyes, and looked directly at the past. Ah. Who? Kaido yawned, looking sleepy. What's happening here? The avatar of White Zetsu didn't understand what the 2 lone men and widows were doing on this deserted island, and immediately spoke. Master Madara, Charlotte Linlin is dead. What? Kaido sat up with a Ji-Ling, his eyes as big as copper bells a little bigger. Linlin is dead. Did he sleep for a month? Wow. Linlin, why are you so dead? Kaido took out a jug of wine from nowhere, and cried loudly as he drank it, tears bursting out of his eyes. It seemed heartbroken. It seems to shed tears for my. White Zetsu's avatar looked strange. The Yamato who was beaten and renamed by Yamato, wouldn't it be you and the ant's daughter? What Yamato beats Yamato? Kaido froze for a while, crying, my son Yamato changed his name. Daughter, your name is Xiaohei now. White Zetsu avatar smiled. Quote. Xiaohei. Kaido couldn't look directly at the name, but after a long time he recovered and snarled, my son has nothing to do with that fat woman. The White Zetsu avatar was speechless. Your response is so fast. Woo ha 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 ha. Kaido cried and laughed, slapped the ground vigorously with his big hands. Since Linlin is dead, then Lousy doesn't have to pay the favor. Lulululu. The day Rock's pirate disbanded. Charlotte Linlin gave Kaido the fish fruit and the blue dragon form of the monster species. Since then, Kaido has risen strongly. The strength of the green dragon fruit and the special physique of Kaido create the strongest creature. Because of this, Kaido owes a great favor to her aunt, and she often reminds Kaido of this favor. This makes Kaido very helpless. That fat woman, Tenten, takes human favors over Lousy, so she always talks about favors, so Lousy has no temper. In Kaido's view, the aunt is moral kidnapping. But Kaido said he had no morals and could not kidnap him at all. If you come out, you want to talk about human relations. Shit, if it weren't for Charlotte Linlin's strong strength and had been killed by Kaido long ago, Tenten of the province would restrict him with favors. Where is her soul? Uchiha Madara asked. White Zetsu's avatar immediately said. Master Kagaya, Charlotte Linlin, because Master Kagaya told her unacceptable desperate truth, the soul blew herself up and the bones were gone. What is the truth? Kaido whispered inwardly. There was the truth that made Linlin desperate and blew himself up. He had known it a long time ago and went to investigate. Didn't Hashirama killed it? Uchiha Madara squinted slightly. White Zetsu avatar smiled. The body was cut off by Master Kagaya, and the soul was detonated by Master Kagaya with a single sentence. It has nothing to do with Master Hashirama. Then he must be very decadent. Uchiha Madara didn't need to think about knowing that a certain big pillar squatted hard on the ground to draw circles, which made Ban want to laugh. Kaido was too lazy to think about it, and proposed. Let's go get Whitebeard now, let him kneel and call Dad. Whitebeard. Your uncle. Not urgent. Uchiha Madara looked at the direction of the seas of all nations, and said calmly, she must be still in New World, I don't want to be the same as Hashirama. For Kagaya, Madara said there was no way. Especially the other side's incomprehensible mode of thinking, God knows what to do. Waiting for Kagaya to leave New World, it is not too late for him to make another move. The head of the province was robbed. Kagaya, it's a woman, you can't help it with a woman. Kaido opened Tongaling's big eyes with an unacceptable expression. You are afraid of even a woman, so I lose face. Kaido gets angry. As one of the two subordinates and mounts, Madara should be the boss. He is the boss of Kaido. How can you be afraid of women? Control your emotions. Uchiha Madara glanced. You may not even be able to fight women in your world. Where do you have the courage to say Master Kagaya? White Zetsu Avatar said, he thinks Kaido is very brave, bravely seeking death. Which woman can I beat? Kaido glared again, disdainfully said, Linlin. If it wasn't for some kindness, Lousy would have blown her up. White Zetsu smiled without saying a word. This surprised Kaido. Is there any better than Linlin? What the FK, Whitebeard? Golden Lion his second aunt? Or is Garp his second wife? You will see it sooner or later. Master Madara, I will retire first. The White Zetsu Avatar looked at Madara, who continued to close her eyes and rested, and turned around and disappeared. Kaido was depressed, half talking. Family crematorium. Kaido wandered in place for a long time, and finally raised his head and said, Old. Can I go out and buy a jug of wine? Uchiha Madara speaks plainly. Hold it. Kaido is autistic. The click lay on the ground. Forget it, go on sleeping. Naval Headquarters. Marineford. The atmosphere is extremely solemn. They didn't receive the death of their aunt, and they didn't even know about Kaido's details. Who cares about New World? Sengoku said in a deep voice. The opening of the special channel to New World caused the loss of a large area of the strong in the first half, and the efficiency of the first half of the Empire's attack was more than doubled. Also let us run out of time. No Rear Admiral is depressed. There were still a lot of good players who could slow down the speed of the first half of the Empire's attack a little bit. Advertisement. After all, the first half of the 7 routes and the islands in the Calm Belt. There are far more powerful men than the 4 seas, and the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army may be there. But now, even the major royal families have evacuated. There are only 2 or 3 big cats and kittens left. And some arrogant pirates who are not afraid of death. And, Marine. At present, the first half of the Empire's attack on the Grand Line made the fastest progress, the 2 routes in the middle and the east. Crane's hair turned whiter, turning over the integrated document and saying. The easternmost route should be the Imperial Air Force. It has already won the Food City and is marching into the city of the Queen of Spring. This route fell 3/4. Here. The generals felt their scalp numb. This kind of efficiency was terrifying. The middle route, attacked by the Imperial Sacred Troops, has already taken Gaia Island, crossed the long ring of Long Island, and is about to arrive at the city of 7 Waters, overlooking the Magic Triangle. This route has fallen to 4/5. The city of 7 Waters. The generals led the vote. Vice Admiral frowned. There, too close to Eni's lobby. Although the city of 7 Waters is separated by 2 routes from Eni's lobby, it is not far away. And Eni's lobby. It is closer to naval headquarters. So slow. Kizaru muttered to himself. He wished that the Empire would hit naval headquarters now. Though, Kizaru thinks that in acting, he can kill countless people in seconds. It is no problem to go to the Empire Entertainment Circle to be the actor. No, the Empire entertainment industry seems to be at the bottom. Kizaru, can't be a monkey and perform for people. But, 7 years. Since joining the Empire, Kizaru has stayed at Marine and never took over a single mission. He always feels abandoned, poor and helpless. One person with 2 wages, I'm Pelusolino, I'm ashamed. Kizaru was ashamed and happy, always counting money in the middle of the night. But Kizaru prefers to have a task to do. 0. Look for flowers. In that case, there must be a bonus. Minister White Zetsu, as long as your salary is in place, Whitebeard will give you nothing. Kizaru looked forward to the mission in his heart. According to this efficiency, it is estimated that the sacred troops on the intermediate route will arrive at Sabayati in 3 days at most. Or through the Eni's lobby, into the ring current and head straight to Marineford. Sengoku said, and stood up. Although now naval headquarters, there is still time to fully evacuate to New World or Mariajoy, but I decided. Boom. The words are not over. The whole Marineford shook. Wake everyone up. Who? Sengoku shouted. Thinking of someone invading, Sengoku smashed the wall with a punch and rushed out. Over Marineford, several people stood on a huge rock. One blind man with his eyes closed said with emotion, "The Marineford foundation is too deep. I want to float directly. My cultivation level is not enough." The Marines in the square were shocked. Did this person just want to float naval headquarters? As soon as the opponent appeared, just swish the knife. Then the headquarters vibrated. Hearing that, the shark-faced man in military uniform chuckled lightly. You are a heavy fruit, not a lion fruit. Controlling the gravity floating island in reverse is definitely many times harder than Golden Lion. As he said, Shark's face looked aside and said helplessly, I thought you didn't pay attention to take marine, but I didn't expect to be discovered. This is a big fish. It's beautiful. The woman with long red-brown curly hair snorted. Fortunately, Sister Kagaya is so wise, she had long thought that you would grab the big fish and send me directly. I'll try the knife. The man in the top hat had extremely sharp eyes and stroked the black long knife in his hand. The last person is wearing a red suit and holding an umbrella, like a noble man, with an evil smile on his face. Just joined the Sacred Army, ask for credit, and take revenge by the way. Empire Marine. A smile, a ghost. Imperial Air Force. Terumi May. Imperial Army. Mihawk. Holy Soldiers. Letterfield. Seeing everyone, Sengoku's heart sank. Ghost Zhao and Terumi May have never seen it. Mihawk is currently top tier. There is also the monster Red Earl. But after seeing a smile, Sengoku said solemnly, unexpectedly, the swordsman who wandered the world smiled and joined the Empire. You are Martial Marine. Perceive Sengoku who rushed out first. Feeling the strength of the other party with a smile, he calmly said, it is a blessing to not look at things. As long as you win Marine and then New World, the old man will be able to open his eyes and see this brand new world. Swipe. One by one, the generals came together. One after another watched the Empire on guard. As for those Marine soldiers, they were all persuaded to retreat by some vice admiral. Just look at a few people from the Empire, and in many cases, no matter how many soldiers there are, it will only cause unnecessary casualties. Who is Pelusolino? Stand up for me. Terumi May scanned the audience from the huge boulders in the sky, her voice swept the sky, awe-inspiring. What? Looking for Kizaru Admiral? Everyone was surprised. Sengoku said angrily, what do you want to do? I won't say anything, Akainu and Aokiji were both captured by you. Don't you even miss Kizaru? You treat me Marine as. Ahem. Don't wait for Sengoku to finish. Kizaru gave a light cough. Sorry, Marshal Sengoku, recognize the reality. In the surprise of everyone, Kizaru stood up honestly. Even more shocking is, Kizaru stood straight and raised his hand in salute. And he said something that everyone at Marine couldn't believe. Citizen of the Holy Empire, identity number 12 ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** Please advise. Wow. Chapter 100. Izuna vs Sengoku, the melee begins, Brokan Madara strikes. Advertisement. What? Really? This is impossible. When Kizaru's words fell, everyone in naval headquarters felt like they were going crazy. All Marines stared. You take a look. Kizaru, this standard salute. This sonorous and powerful, please give instructions. This guy has never been so serious in naval headquarters for decades. Porosalino, Shameless, Doberman, Jaji, Ghost Spider, etc. Vice Admiral almost squirted out blood. Have you forgotten how much you worried about Sakazuki and Kuzan before? The two were arrested. At that time you almost shed tears for Sakazuki and Kuzan. Our co-authors all acting. What a joke. You turned out to be a member of the Holy Empire, or a small citizen. Sengoku roared incredulously, swayed all over his body, pointing to Kizaru tremblingly, unable to say a complete sentence. You are good. He was angry. The angry yellow ape joined the Empire without saying a word, and didn't know to say a word. Wrath, Kizaru does not fight or grabs without self-motivated, ran to the Empire as a civilian. Mr. Sengoku. Kizaru put down his hand, turned around and said seriously, I have to correct you a mistake. In my opinion. I am proud of being an imperial citizen. Speaking of this, Kizaru opened his hand and let out a cry of the soul, resounding through the sky. All the citizens of the great empire under the leadership of the great holy empire emperor, 28-7, are great. The empire is immortal. Your majesty is eternal and immortal. Pelusalino, from today onwards, it's the opposite. The audience was silent. Zephyr, who had just arrived, still thinking about the high and low sentences, was silent. Suru's invincible intelligent brain can't find a word to describe Kizaru. The original idiot. How loyal at the moment. Gui Zhao grinned and said, this guy, don't you think your majesty is looking at him? Maybe I want to use this to inform the great majesty of his great thought. Terumi Mei chuckled lightly. Whether Kizaru is true or not, at the very least, Kisame and Terumi Mei are full of favorability. It's an individual talent. It's more of a human spirit. He smiled and laughed. I feel the endless anger. If we leave now, he will be beaten to death by the group. Mahawk and Red Earl's eyelids twitched. Unexpectedly, you, a blind man with thick eyebrows, big eyes, and kind eyebrows, would be so bad. Then let's go. The ghost thief laughed. Kizaru's expression on the bottom was stagnant, and the whole person was ill. He immediately shouted. Hey, it's horrible here, take me. Porosali no. Sengoku let out a loud shout. Turning into a dazzling giant golden Buddha in a flash, conquerors shook out and shot out with anger. Boom. Launched in one session. It was an extremely grand shock wave, mixed with armed colors, shrouded toward Kizaru through the sky. Void. Suddenly a black light flashed. And before the shock wave approached, the black light suddenly flourished, instantly engulfing the surrounding light, forming a vortex like a black hole. Hiss. Kizaru's scalp is tingling. He felt the absolute crisis that made his heart palpitations, the darkness almost swallowed him. Brush. Kizaru retreated, buzzing. Unbelievable to everyone, Sengoku's angry blow was like a drop of water into the sea, blending into the darkness like a black hole. There are no waves. The audience fell silent. Marshal Sengoku's attack just was swallowed. Vice Admiral, an extremely abstract appearance, stared out at this moment. Almost died. Kizaru was even more surprised and wiping cold sweat. He felt that the darkness was his absolute nemesis. It seems to devour the light. It is not the smoke and darkness of dark fruit, but the darkness that swallows everything like black light. As Hikari Kizaru, his heart palpitates. Brush. On a desert island in New World. Uchiha Madara opened her eyes suddenly, an eternal light flashed in her eyes, and she murmured. It's Izuna's breath. Who is Izuna? Kaido woke up early, and was now listlessly playing with a female bear. My dear brother. Speaking of which, Uchiha Madara's face showed an incredible tenderness that made Kaido. What a cold, arrogant, Haki. All disappeared. He directly became the warm man next door, smiling like Mu Chunfang, making Kaido trance. I suspect you have a split personality. Kaido said in a muffled voice that was incomprehensible, and the evidence was found. Ruiju saw this. Brokon, this dead, never smiled at me like that. No, Izuna should be teaching children in the Empire at this time. Thinking of the most gentle brother, Uchiha Madara was relieved and helpless. I just love the disco dancing. But that lovely brother in my class fell in love with the great and glorious profession of the teacher. Not to be a teacher in the Imperial Army. Izuna became a teacher in a certain elementary school where the Empire Ninja Hojo is located. Deeply loved by civilian children. What are you going to do? Seeing Madara stand up, Kaido also stood up, full of anticipation and surprise. Izuna seems to be fighting. I'm going to watch, lest he get hurt. Uchiha Madara's Brokon disease has committed again, and his eyes are full of worry, for fear of Izuna losing a hair. Kaido wondered. Is your brother weak? Then why let him come out? I didn't expect this guy from Haki to have such a gentle side. Kaido is extremely difficult to adapt. No, my brother is super strong, he will surpass me in the future. Uchiha Madara spoke proudly. Kaido couldn't help but stared. Then what are you worried about? You should be worried about his opponent. Can be next. Advertisement. Kaido sees Uchiha Madara that is even more difficult for him to understand. Madara clasped her hands tightly, her face was a little flustered because of being too worried, and she kept murmuring. What if I get besieged? What if there is a conspiracy? What if there is any special fruit that traps Izuna? What if Izuna is injured? I will never allow it. Seeing true Brokon for the first time. Kaido feels that his three views are collapsing. This is not the Uchiha Madara I know. Shifu. Bo Madara turns into streamer and flies away. Wait for me. Kaido is also a dragon, chasing after it, afraid of not catching up, immediately shouted for directions. Where is your brother? Naval headquarters. Kaido stared again. This is New World, separated from the first half of the Grand Line by the Red Line. The island is even more miles away from naval headquarters. It was Madara who sensed it after all. Or is it brother's telepathy? If it's the former, stop, I'm convinced with this boss. Kaido suppressed his shock, and became excited. Naval headquarters, ha ha ha. Give Lousy the best war in the world. Naval headquarters. In the silence, in the darkness like a black hole, a gentleman walked out of Uzumaki, but his body was washed away with Reiatsu, who made everyone's heart palpitating. Holy Empire Army Admiral, my name is Uchiha Izuna. Uchiha Izuna's eternally radiant scarlet eyes scanned the audience, slowly flew up, and the voice vibrated. Sengoku, come to fight. Wow, naval headquarters was surprised, but felt that there were too many strong empires. But Ghost Zhao and them were extremely shocked. Why is Senior Izuna here? He hasn't made any shots for 20 years, right? Kisame admires Izuna, who is willing to return to the ordinary and go to elementary school to educate the new generation. The other party is extremely gentle and extremely powerful, a real imperial high-quality man. I feel that one can kill me. Kizaru flew over and spoke with lingering fear, full of fear. That kind of dark, light nemesis. You don't talk nonsense. Terumi Mei flipped through Byakugan and threw a task book to Huang Yuan, and said seriously, this is for you by your majesty. You must complete it, do you know? Your majesty gave it. Kizaru couldn't help but be overjoyed. Suddenly I felt that even if he was abandoned for 7 years, it might be a kind of temper to him. It's hard to come by. Kizaru was overly excited and opened the task book without even thinking about it. Puff. Take a look. Kizaru almost vomited blood and died, his entire old face was crowded together, and his heart was full of melancholy. This is embarrassing me Pelusalino, it's really dying. Certainly, Kizaru muttered in his heart, but didn't say anything. Before this kind of task, he couldn't even think of it. Because it's really going to die. It's done. Kizaru put away the task book, took a deep look at Sengoku and others, then raised his hand in salute and opened his mouth. My sirs, let me go one step ahead. Brush. Kizaru turned into golden light. Rushed. Mariajoy. Seeing another strong man in the empire, Sengoku said condensely, before you come, I have decided. It makes no sense to say anything. Uchiha Izuna interrupted calmly and looked directly at Sengoku indifferently. For this type of person. First of all pride is smashed, all sent to prison, unified inspections and screenings, kills that should be killed, and education that should be education. This is the fastest efficiency. A word, what did you do earlier? Stop talking nonsense, let's fight. Sengoku took a deep breath and pleaded. In any case, please let go of the ordinary marine soldiers, they are innocent. The next moment, a black light flashed across Marineford. There has been something shocking everyone. Disappeared. Crane's thinking was short-circuited for an instant. Naval headquarters except Vice Admiral and above. All the remaining people disappeared. So strong. I smiled and my heart condensed. His sights, hearings and colors didn't capture anything, but countless auras disappeared. Boom. The next moment, Quan 5.99 and Sengoku collided with their fists and feet together, sending out a violent wave of air. Gravity Knife Hell Brigade. A smile fell on Zephyr's side, drew his knife in a flash, and a terrifying gravity field erupted. Boom. Suddenly feeling terrible gravity, Zephyr was also accidentally crushed on the ground and fell into a bottomless hole. Garp, come out. Letterfield put away the evil smile, and looked towards the far corner indifferently. Thanks to you, I have had a good experience in Impel Down, and you should experience it too. Oh, Ryder. Garp, who was covered in bandages, walked from a distance with a wry smile. His injuries have not healed so far. Don't show off your pity in front of me. Letterfield ignored Garp's wry smile, he couldn't forget that day. After he defeated Kong Kong exhausted his energy. Garp ate the senbei and sang, knocked him out, turned around and threw it into Impel Down. Boom. Earl Red is dispatched. Coming to fight. Hawkeye slashed towards Addicting. Plus, the strength is Quasi-Admiral, the powerhouse who is about to win the title of Killing Pulse. Your opponent is me. Terumi Mei came to Crane. Kisame looked directly at the remaining Vice Admiral and grinned with a masseter knife. Listen. You are surrounded by me. Chapter 101. Sea of Ghosts flooded Marineford, dare to besiege my brother. Advertisement. Boom boom boom. The melee began. There was a roar everywhere in Marineford, and the island kept shaking. There is only one corner. Rare piece. Crane Vice Admiral, right. Terumi Mei casually walked towards the crane and said lazily, you can stand firm in naval headquarters as a woman, I have to say that your methods are very good. Crane serves as the head of the staff. Has a wealth of knowledge, is a typical the resourceful general character, extremely sophisticated. But it's not that the opponent has no strength. As Dover commented, Crane is a monster full of wisdom, even as an enemy, it is still respectable. Xiao Ming. She was scared away by Crane many times. It is also one of the few people in Marine who makes Xiao Ming extremely jealous and respectful. Looking at your manner, it seems that you have made arrangements for me. Crane spoke with great certainty, and then slightly exclaimed, over the history of Marine, there has never been a female admiral or a marshal. And the Holy Empire, the Imperial Air Force I know, from the marshal to admiral are all women, it's amazing. Crane has a complicated mind. I don't know what I'm thinking. Terumi Mei couldn't help but laughed. I am also affiliated with the Air Force and rank as an admiral. The Air Force lacks a staff member. Air Force staff. Crane glanced at the chaotic battlefield and said in a low voice, smashing all the pride of Marine with absolute strength is really a domineering empire. What kind of majesty there is, there will be what kind of empire, I like domineering very much. As Terumi Mei spoke, he raised his hand, and a laser shot from between his fingers. Small divine destruction. Boom. Annihilation was lost, and the earth shattered. Crane hurriedly approached Terumi Mei, with a strange light on his hand. Brush. Terumi Mei disappeared. Crane's hand touched the stone behind Terumi Mei's place. For an instant, the stone was washed and folded into various shapes, and it was fragile like a dried clothes falling in the hands of a crane. Paramesha washing fruit 07 real. It can turn life and non-life into clothes after washing and drying. Things that are washed lose their shape and become like dried clothes. The cleansed life body loses its power. Even cleanse the soul and purify the heart. Nice ability. Terumi Mei chuckled slightly. I will not be close until I am not sure whether your abilities are dangerous to me. Some abilities can make people overturned. Chi. Terumi Mei holy text is activated. Danger. Crane couldn't help but shrink his pupils. While she was retreating, the ground and everything she was on was corroding rapidly, and even some of the fine steel was corroding. In front of me, everything corrodes. Terumi Mei said awe-inspiringly, raising his hand as multiple sacred destruction, dozens of lasers flew towards the crane. Boom boom boom. Crane escaped dangerously and dangerously. Pieces of corrosion and collapse in the place where the disappearance has been lost are extremely destructive. You can't hide. Terumi Mei's eyes condensed, and Reiatsu swept out, instantly making the air pressure a lot heavier. Corrosion. All things rot, disappear, erode, and melt within Reiatsu's range. And can add corrosion to the attack. Terumi Mei is an untouchable source of corrosion. Chi. Crane kept backing away, and Terumi Mei didn't move at all. Everywhere Reiatsu went, it was corroding, making the scalp numb. This, touched slightly, Crane found that the armed color covering his hands was also corroding. Haki can't stop it, your ability is too dangerous. When retreating to the edge of the coast, with the sea behind him, the Crane found that he had nowhere to go. It's not that Haki can't stop it, it's that your Haki is not strong enough. Terumi Mei took a step forward, and the force of corrosion spread towards the Crane entering the blind spot. Awakening purification. When Crane's washing fruit awakens. Terumi Mei found her corrosive power paused, and the power on it was constantly being washed away. Quote. This awakening. It is not string fruit that assimilates everything, but greatly increases the original power, which makes Terumi Mei laugh again. I corrupt everything, you purify everything, it looks a little stalemate, really can't help you. Stop kidding. Time and time again, Crane understood that the women of the Empire were terrifying. She didn't dare to be careless. Awakening. Soul purification. Crane manipulates the power of awakening and heads towards Terumi Mei. She wants to wash away all the malice and warfare in Terumi Mei's heart against her. By the way, cleanse the power. Ended. After experiencing the strength of the Crane, Terumi Mei released all Reiatsu. Boom. Under the Crane holding his breath. Her washing power was swept away by a terrifying aura, and Terumi Mei came to her in an instant. Raise your hand to fist. Cover spiritual power. Bloody outfit increase. Boom. Punch down. The Crane, which was originally on the coast and under the influence of Reiatsu, was hit directly and hit the sea. It's easy to fight against the capable. Terumi Mei smiled again, learning how Tsunade beats a black ape, and hit the sea to get it done. Crane Vice Admiral, Suru. This scene worries Doberman and Vice Admiral in the distance. Sengoku, Garp, and Zephyr exclaimed. Fighting with me is still distracting. Hawkeye's eyes condensed, and the black knife became even darker, very new. The huge and magnificent chopping wave blasted on Jaji's body instantly, directly blasting him into flight. Garp in the distance also flew upside down and directly smashed the headquarters building. Playing Marine heroes in naval headquarters makes me happy even though I am no longer a pirate. Letterfield stood in place gracefully, holding up the umbrella incidentally. Sengoku and Zephyr also flew upside down, flying upside down together and smashed the other half of the headquarters building. Advertisement. Sword pressure. Uchiha Izuna did not stop, raising the knife and swinging it towards the headquarters building. Dozens of terrifying sword blows turned into big nets and brazenly raided. Gravity knife Big Tiger. A smile pushed the gravity horizontally, and everything it passed by collapsed. Boom boom boom. The Marine headquarters building was shattered in an instant. Because of Crane accident, distracted everyone directly and suffered heavy losses. I have to say that Crane has a high reputation. What about others? Doberman and more than a dozen Vice Admiral watched around guardingly, and Kisame disappeared. Conquer him, Masseter. A voice came from the sea, and when the Vice Admiral looked at it, they saw Ghost Zhao standing on the sea grinning. Did the strong all fly upside down? Just in time for me to flood Marineford. Kisame held Samahata, whose shape changed drastically after returning to the blade, and swung down at Marineford. Wow. Under the horrified gaze of Vice Admirals such as the Ghost Spider, a series of monstrous waterfalls flowed out from the Masseter muscle. Even the entire sea under the feet of the Ghost Zhao was tossed. Turn into a sky-ocean current. Broken sea waterfall. Ghost Zhao swung his knife and fell. The waterfall coming from inside the Masseter muscle, and the tsunami of hundreds of meters, all drowned towards Marineford. This guy, what big tricks are indiscriminately? Terumi Mei spit out, and walked away from Marineford. Izuna and others are also far away. Boom boom boom. When the naval headquarters did not have Qingshang, and all the top powerhouses had not emerged from the ruins, Doubtman and others could not stop it. Unleash the power of the tsunami to your heart's content. All the buildings of naval headquarters collapsed in an instant, and the whole island was flooded. It's really tragic. On the edge of the red line, Kizaru hid in a corner, secretly looking at the naval headquarters far below. If the Marines below Vice Admiral were not transferred by Izuna by unknown means, there would be countless casualties. Why don't you do the task? Suddenly the voice rang from behind. Huang Yuan stood up agitatedly. Minister. I'm just a clone. The white Zetsu avatar looked at Kizaru strangely, and wondered. You finally got a mission, what are you doing here secretly? Worried about Marine or scared? I do not have. Knowing that this is the clone, Kizaru said stiffly. Never mind Marine, it's just a small task. Wait a few minutes for me to prepare and go right away. That task is really terrible. Kizaru said that he needs to prepare and adjust his mentality. Whatever. The white Zetsu avatar didn't say much. Kizaru also became curious. What are you doing here? Collect information. White Zetsu avatar shook his head and said, No, I have found 2 helpers for you. They will be there in a while, let's join them. Helper. Kizaru Road Table looks forward to a nervous. I hope it's not a big shot, otherwise I can't let go of Kizaru. Fist Bone, Meteor Shower. Black Arm Tornado. The attacks of Garp and Zephyr burst out, forming a shock wave with a huge range, blasting all the seawater on the island out. Awakening Buddha's Light. Yulinar. The whole Marineford and the sky were all lit up with golden light overflowing. The terrifying attack rushed towards everyone in the sky. Buzz. A ray of black light came from Izuna, and instantly swallowed all the surrounding light, forming a piece of absolute darkness covering tens of miles. Hiss. Looking down from the red line, Kizaru felt palpitated again when he watched from a distance. He saw clearly. That kind of darkness unfolded too quickly. If he was nearby, the photon couldn't escape, so he swallowed it all. Great dark sky. Shinigami's whispers sounded like hell. The 340 people waiting for Jaji on Marineford felt that there was no light around them. My move is gone again. Sengoku's heart sank. He didn't expect that his awakening big move would also be swallowed by darkness. No, seeing and hearing color is not available. Garp exclaimed, but no one could hear it. In the realm of the great dark sky, will form an absolute black. All perceptions, sounds, five senses, and even consciousness will be swallowed and deprived. Only the heavy depression from the soul is also ultimate cold, like falling to hell. Izuna was about to say something. A nervous and worried voice carried spiritual power suddenly, and even broke through the darkness into the great dark sky realm. Prove that those who come are extremely powerful. Izuna, are you okay? Come out and let the elder brother see if he is injured. Are you tired? Are you thirsty? Are you hungry? If you are okay, the eldest brother can beat you back and shout for cheering, worrying about the death of the eldest brother. Quote. The whole audience was dumbfounded. Izuna couldn't laugh or cry. My beloved eldest brother, how many times have I said that I am no longer a kid? It's useless to say anything. Since Izuna came back from the dead, Uchiha Madara will never allow Izuna to lose a single hair. Empire. True Brokon. Quote. Izuna withdrew from the great dark sky and gently looked at Uchiha Madara flying from outside. Izuna. Uchiha Madara flew in immediately and circled Izuna twice, only to breathe a sigh of relief. Immediately, Uncle Ban's face was stern. I really didn't expect that so many people combined would be worse than me alone, and they would besiege my brother. Quote. Everyone. Unexpectedly, Uchiha Madara did not make a move, but looked at the flying dragon. Don't you see Izuna sweat? Don't get tired of him, go on. I'm on it now. This dead Brokon. Kaido was full of complaints. Where do you see your brother sweating? It seems we need to have a good relationship with this guy. Kaido glanced at Izuna, remembering his face firmly in his heart. Immediately Kaido flew towards Marineford, full of laughter resounding in the sky. Just let you see. Really. The miracle of immortality. Chapter 102. Kaido vs Marine 6 Powers, Immortal Miracles. Advertisement. I have seen Master Ban. Ghost Zhao, Terumi Mei and others all saluted. Thanks for your hard work. Uchiha Madara replied. He glanced at Izuna again, and then set his gaze on Kaido. Martial. Level. I saw Madara's Mihawk, Yishao and Leadfield for the first time, and Kizaru overlooking on the red line. I saw Uchiha Madara for the first time. He couldn't control his eyes at all, and always let his eyes pass Uchiha Madara inadvertently. Just like ordinary people, can't help but look at the strong, with endless curiosity. Marshal of the Empire. It is not only a position, but also the absolute strongest among the 3 armies of the Empire. Credit is very important. Strength is more important. After all, many of the 3 armies of the Empire are elites selected from the sacred troops and from all walks of life. Without strength, those people can't be suppressed. Would you like to take a photo with you and watch it slowly when you go home? Perceiving everyone's gaze, Izuna smiled gently, making everyone confused. Madara's eyelids twitched. My lovely brother is suddenly so cute at this moment. Is it okay? People like Mihawk who are like Shisui are looking forward to it at this moment. When he was a teenager, he had an idol, and he dreamed of taking a photo with him someday. Master Madara is my idol. What Hitaki Tsukumo, who defeated Mihawk, lingered in his mind all the time. Quote. Well, if you take a photo, can you take me one? A golden light flashed and Kizaru fell. It will be all right. Izuna chuckled slightly. He likes to break the coldness of his brother, and directly separates the clone and takes out the camera. Ladies first, everyone stand up. Izuna Avatar commanded everyone's posture, all standing on the floating boulder. I'm coming too. Kaido also jumped over suddenly. At this time, Ryder and others recovered. I didn't expect Kaido to join the Empire. This scene made Sengoku and the others blackened, and they didn't look at them at all. Shouted and killed 1 second before. Turn around and take a photo in the next second. Kachacha. Izuna Avatar shot a few in a row. The nervousness of the people also eased a lot, and they all smiled. Take the photo out of the camera and distribute it to everyone. Satisfied, I'm going to do the task. Kizaru put away the photo and smiled happily, then turned and flew to Mariajoy again. Uchiha Madara flew Kaido with 1 kick and flew directly to Marineford. Boom. The huge body fell on the square, raising a cloud of dust, causing Zephyr and others to frown. After taking back the clone, Izuna whispered, Brother, you let him take a shot, do you want to test? As a younger brother, Izuna knows Uchiha Madara very well. Truly Brokon. Although Sengoku and others did not besiege Izuna just now, but Izuna alone besiege all Marine. In the eyes, it is more bullying than less. According to Izuna's understanding, Madara's thinking should be to shoot directly, first crippling everyone. But it happened to be handed over to Kaido. Well, test his new ability. It seems that Naval Headquarters is very suitable for testing Kaido's capabilities. Not enough. Seeing the strength of naval headquarters as only Sengoku and Garp, Uchiha Madara separated into a clone. Bring the two of them here. Uchiha Madara's clone disappeared instantly. This aroused Kisami's curiosity. Master Madara, what do you mean? The current naval headquarters are not enough for Kaido to fight alone. What? I smiled and my heart was shocked. Letterfield frowned slightly. As the current overlord of New World so strong. Although there are no three admiral. But naval headquarters is still not small. Kaido. Whitebeard came and died. You know Sengoku is Whitebeard's lifelong enemy, absolute top. Uchiha Madara calmly said. At present, the specific combat power is still uncertain, but no matter how many people come to Qinghai, he can't be killed. Hearing this, Mihawk said uncertainly. I couldn't kill it before. Undead Kaido, the strongest creature. Terumi Mei couldn't help but smiled. Don't talk about the Empire, then I will ask you, after Kaido was exhausted and fell into a coma. 3 Admiral plus Garp Sengoku, 5 people take turns attacking with all their strength for days and nights, can Kaido's head be broken? Of course, a comatose Kaido. The 5 have been attacking his head, which can definitely be broken. Kaido is just a creature with strong resilience, not a monster that will never die. Terumi Mei continued. Since you can smash your head to prevent him from recovering, then smash the whole body, separate the countless pieces, and burn them to ashes with the high temperature of melting sea stone. Will you not die? It should die. No, it will definitely die. Ryder also seemed to have heard the joke, and laughed. 5 top powerhouses, who can beat him into a dregs, will undoubtedly die. Look down on someone. It's just a little troublesome. It really angered the world government and called on all the top powers to besiege, and there is no scum that can beat Kaido. But it is not necessary. I smiled and became curious. That means that in the past Kaido, as long as the world government paid some price, it would definitely be able to kill it, but for some reason it gave up. And now, even if the world government pays any price, it can't be killed. Everyone was surprised. One might die. One cannot die. These are two completely different concepts, which can definitely keep countless people awake at night. It really can't be killed. Uchiha Madara opened her forehead. The voice was not hidden, and it reached the ears of Sengoku and others, making everyone unable to believe it. No one can survive. Zephyr spoke in a deep voice, staring sharply at the huge figure in the dust. Kaido has broken through naval headquarters many times and executed dozens of times without dying, but so what? Advertisement. It does not mean that Kaido is absolutely unkillable. If Sengoku, Garp and others get up, who can stand it? No one can live without death. Kaido's voice swept away the dust, his face was full of crazy excitement, but in this world, absolutely no one, no power can kill the current lousy. Come on. Feel the despair. Boom. Kaido gave up his mace and slammed into the square with a punch. Directly caused large-scale fragmentation. Arrogant. Sengoku turned into a huge golden Buddha and blasted a terrifying blow. Conqueror's winding. The big Buddha fruit awakens. Sengoku wanted to wake up Kaido's arrogant thoughts and give a severe lesson. You guys step back. Garp motioned to Doberman and others to retreat. This is not something they can participate in. Only the unbroken Zephyr and the decent extras can join. What? Something amazing happened. Facing the terrifying blow of Sengoku's anger, Kaido stood there and didn't hide at all. There is not even a defense. If you don't hide or defend, you don't need hockey, and the flesh and blood Whitebeard also has to vomit blood. Suffering the top violent blow in this world, Kaido, who was defenseless, was directly bombed out. It turned into a streamer and fell into the sea. I am back. Uchiha Madara rushed back, with 2 people behind him, and the clone merged into Madara's body. Madara calmly said something that shocked everyone. You guys can join them too, as long as you join forces to kill, even if Kaido is defeated. The bottom line, as long as 10 days later, one of you will be alive. I will make a decision, let go of all Marines, and give you the glory of the Empire. The audience was silent. One sentence from the class. The bottom line of the result was lowered 3 times, and it was staggering every time. 10 days later. Is it enough to live only one person? Is the opponent sure Kaido? Kuzan. Sakazuki. Seeing the 2 of them, Zephyr exclaimed. It was pleasantly surprised that the 2 were unscathed, but then the Marines were shocked again. Yes, Master Ben. Sakazuki raised his hand in salute. Kuzan took a deep breath and said seriously, Master Xie Ban gives this Marine a chance. Marine. Swipe. When Qingshong and Akainu landed on the square, they did not speak and stared at the sea. That's good, at least there is hope. Sengoku didn't ask much, his eyes became serious, and he was carrying all Marine's life on his shoulders. Going desperately, Garp tore the bandage off his body, revealing scars all over his body. The injury has not healed. Start the return of life directly. Wow. Kaido jumped out of the sea, and landed on the square and laughed. Ha 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 ha, the power of miracles, lousy feels it. After seeing Qingshong and Akainu also coming, Kaido was even more excited. Yes, this is the top war one want. It belongs to me alone. No injuries. He has grown taller. Sengoku stared at Kaido, he didn't believe that his full blow could not even hurt Kaido. But now, Kaido was unharmed, even his body was raised by a half, and his aura was stronger. If there is a problem, go all out. As Sengoku shouted, the golden light of the Buddha illuminates the sky again. He thought of the fastest way, and joined forces to severely wound Kaido and fainted. Awakening Buddhism shines. The moment Sengoku shot. The crowd dispersed, surrounded Kaido, and released their big moves. Fist Bone Meteor. Armed, Freezing Moment. Armed, Inagu Gurren. Blackout Storm Rush. Armed Tempest Kick Dragon Broken. The terrifying shock wave, the cold air of the forest, the hot magma, the strength of the storm, the fierce blow to Bochichi. Turn the entire Marineford, Good Money Jiao, into a gorgeous and dangerous restricted area. Boom. A huge roaring nuclear explosion blasted at Marineford as usual, directly triggering a wind of destruction that tore through the entire island. Marineford split instantly. Ice Age. As Qingshong froze the sea, Sengoku heard an incredulous voice. How can this be? When the dust is gone. What appeared on the ice was Kaido, who was unscathed and had grown tens of meters in size, full of aura that made everyone's heart palpitating. A mortal miracle, God's measure. Kaido yelled, clenched his fist and blasted downward. Ba-hai. Boom. The power of fist entangled conquerors and armed color, and turned into a complete shock wave that would drown the counties in an instant, and everyone was astonished. Gap. The extra is like a balloon. It was directly exploded into blood mist. Holy text. Miracles. Miracle. Turning a situation that is not good for oneself into a state that is good for oneself is a miracle. Turn decay into magic. Turn the desperate situation into a miracle. Usage. Turn all the damage into your own strength, and increase your strength and defense in an all-round way. The manifestation of power is the hugeness of the body, the scale of the gods. The holy script of Kaido. Ling Yuan's Lan Yu in Beijo cast his eyes and briefly commented. The more the war, the stronger. The miracle of immortality. Finally appeared. Chapter 103. The power of God, the final form, the hero turned into ashes. Advertisement. A miracle. When Lan Yu received Kaido's holy text, she also sighed with a miracle. Because now Lan Yu does not selectively awaken the holy characters, they are completely awakened randomly according to their own characteristics. Kaido can awaken. A miracle. It is a miracle in itself. Invisible and the Imperial Star-Crossed Knights, M's miracle power is similar, but slightly different. Lan Yu watched the Kaido state from afar, and was also experiencing the miraculous power lodged on him. For the miracle, Lan Yu was very satisfied. Aside from other things, at least Lan Yu added a near-immortal means. Madara. It's everything. Hashirama. There is a negation. Hinata. The Arc of Time. Both contain the concept of immortality, and Kaido's holy text. Miracle, there is also. Various concept states are added. There is also the treasure of the dimensional jade body, at least in the small and medium worlds, it is difficult for Lan Yu to get injured. Turn disadvantages into advantages, turn injuries into strength, and turn death into a miracle of life. The miracle of Kaido's immortality described by Lan Yu is not empty words. The moment Kaido died, will open even more terrifying miracles. Resurrected from the dead, the power of miracles will resurrect Kaido and directly open the Eucharist, the power of gods will gain a terrifying power far surpassing the previous ones. Even if the body is destroyed, it will still be resurrected in the rain of light gathered by the souls. The final form, the body of the soul. The body that is completely gathered by the souls, even if it is broken up, will still regroup, allowing people to witness the miracle of immortality. In the original trajectory of the Shinigami world, M killed the Zero Division Oni-san and swept the Masked Legion, one person versus Byakuya Kuchiki, Kenpachi and Toshiro. Presents a posture of invincibility and immortality. If it's not for the holy of Yhwach to deprive M of power and life, then M can say, who else? Gote 13 and all Shinigami together. It's a pity that Soul Society doesn't allow such a powerful existence, and is directly arranged. The ability is quite suitable for him. Lan Yu looked at the two powerful weapons that appeared in Kaido's hands. The Sword of Hope turned into a shattered mace. The Shield of Justice becomes the Shield of Evil. Lan Yu once thought of finding someone in the Empire world and heaven, and bestowing miraculous power on him. But nothing is suitable. The 410 strongest creatures in Qinghai are very suitable. Let Marine witness the miracle. Lan Yu reversed time and space, clicked on the projection screen, and watched with a pillow doll named Shirahoshi. Boom. After colliding with Kaido, Garp felt a great shock in his heart. Strengthened so much. Boom boom boom. Garp turned into streamer, smashed holes all the way on the ice, and fell violently. How can it be so strong? Sengoku couldn't understand Kaido now. What did he think of? When he saw that Akainu and Aokiji were about to attack, he suddenly yelled, don't attack him. The more he gets hurt, the stronger he gets. What? Akainu and Aokiji stopped moving. But Kaido wouldn't stop, because his body became larger after his strength increased, and he swung his arms twice with a shattered mace. It's like swatting flies. Boom. Akainu and Aokiji felt that the sky was dark, and they were immediately subjected to an irresistible force of terror, and they flew out in a flash. Ha 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 ha. Power, don't be careless about this constantly pouring power. Kaido laughed and reminded everyone, saying very arrogant and confident words. Otherwise, if Laozi doesn't control it well, all of you will die, which will make Laozi extremely disappointed. Boom boom boom. Kaido took the shattered mace and started bombarding everywhere. Sengoku and others ignored Kaido and kept avoiding, thinking about countermeasures. Are you sure? If this is the case, then we have to escape. Zephyr's heart is extremely heavy. Sengoku said in a condensed voice. If it was the previous Kaido, if he was not defensive, our full attack would at least hurt him severely. But look at him, his body is getting bigger and bigger without injuries, and his aura is getting stronger. There is currently no good strategy. A Kaido is very troublesome. Suddenly there is an enhanced version, or a continuously enhanced version of Kaido. How to fight this? Any ability has weaknesses, and AHFJ has an upper limit of endurance. Garp jumped over and looked at Kaido, which was getting bigger and bigger, and finally set his gaze on Kaido's head. He is extremely conceited and does not do any defense at all. This is our opportunity. Everyone looked at each other. Understood Garp's plan. Kaido, who is not defensive and getting bigger, is a target. They work together to break the upper limit of Kaido's ability. Did you discuss it? Come on. Kaido gave up his defense, his huge eyes gleaming with anticipation. Other people's holy scripts require hard work, and his, simple and crude violent. I'll contain him, you go. Zephyr knows his own business, his strength has regressed so much, even if his hands are healthy, Kaido can't be effectively hurt. Life return Black Arm Meteor. Zephyr's body washed away the rhythm of life, crushed the ice surface with a thud, and instantly came to Kaido and threw his punch down. Try Laozi's shattered mace. Kaido raised the mace in his hand that would grow larger in sync with his body. No attack, just block. Boom. Zephyr exploded with a full punch. It hit the mace fiercely, and Kaido took a few steps back from the power. Crack. When a broken voice sounded, Kaido's mace cracked. Chance. Sengoku and others moved at the same time. Awakening Big Buddha. Come to the world. Armed. Ice Age. Armed Meteor Volcano. Armed. Fist Bone Meteorite. The four people jumped into the air and attacked with all their strength. Kaido's eyes became as big as a small house. Take the eyes as the path. Smash the head through. This guy, do you want to die? Letterfield, who was watching from a distance, couldn't help frowning, because Kaido still didn't evade, defend, and counterattack. It seems to be begging to die. Boom. As Ryder thought. Kaido, who had abandoned all defenses, was directly smashed into his eyes, and various ultimatums penetrated his eyes and blasted his head. Kaido's head exploded. Advertisement. The headless corpse fell straight down. Dead, dead. Kisame couldn't help but stare. Sengoku and the others were also in a daze for a moment, and just clamored for the immortal Kaido, so easy to die. His Reiatsu dissipated and was indeed dead. Sengoku didn't understand Akainu's words, but according to his knowledge, Kaido's body can't die anymore. Brother, is this the surprise you prepared for me? It's not good. Izuna looked at Uchiha Madara and found that his big brother was very calm. Uchiha Madara said gently, my lovely brother, he is testing his abilities. The show has just begun. Puff chick chick. At the next moment, everyone was shocked. Because Zephyr, who had just landed, began to split like glass, entering bloodlines. He's not dead, just avoid him. Zephyr vomited blood suddenly and let out a startled roar. He swore that he hadn't been touched by Kaido just now, but he was badly injured, just like a cracked mace. Kaido's smashed mace is incidental to spiritual power and abilities. Similar to Conan's scapegoat, if there is damage on the mace, the same damage will appear on the person who damaged the mace, leaving the opponent branded with despair. Boom. Next moment, the entire ice surface was overwhelmed and shattered, accompanied by a terrifying vibe. A huge figure of hundreds of meters appeared on the battlefield that made everyone breathless. End Eucharist power of God. It shines in front of Uchiha Madara's eyes. Kaido unexpectedly stepped over the penance of the Holy Script and opened the Eucharist directly. Wow. Next moment, Kaido is a huge hundreds of meters. The body collapsed suddenly, turned into a spiritual child, and the light rain scattered everywhere, flooding the sky with brilliance. God's power, final form. At this moment, I was also surprised, Kisame almost stared out. This guy has only joined the Empire for a few days. I won't talk about it after the Holy Physique came out. It even has the final form. I haven't practiced hard for decades. This is unscientific. Terumi May turned Byakugan. What science are you talking about here? However, Kaido's abilities are really unreasonable and full of miracles everywhere. This is the real power of miracle, making all impossible possible. Lan Yu hugged the cute Shirahoshi doll and chuckled softly. And on the battlefield, there was an incredible look on Akainu's face. This monster. Everyone lost their voices. Kaido, resurrected from the light and rain gathered by the souls, is extremely sturdy, nearly thousands of meters in size, covering the sky and the sun. The overall image is like a flashing demon. The Chinmi Link Sea giant overlooked everything, swamping the aura that suffocated everyone in Marine, beyond their understanding. Even if you die, you will fight for God. This, God, refers to Lan Yu. The real power of miracles is the faith and obsession with the utmost loyalty to Lan Yu. So, only Lan Yu can kill Kaido, wholly, recovers Kaido's power and die. Any other situation, as long as there are miracles in the world. Then Kaido will not die. It's too small, you are really too small, and smallness makes lousy feel boring. Kaido, which is nearly 1,000 meters in size, overlooks the ant-like people on the ice, and the sound is like thunder. Boom. Slow body assembly. Sorry, the strength, defense, and speed of my Kaido are beyond your imagination at this moment. Kaido kicked with a big kick. Like a mountain range, it was accompanied by terror, kicking everyone below directly into the air. Puff cough cough. In a flash, all vomit blood. Sengoku and others were shocked. This monster has become stronger again. And it can't be killed no matter what. If this continues, everyone will die. It belongs to Uchiha Madara's game, and they will fail completely. You, escape. Garp's aura suddenly increased, with a violent roar on his face. Remember the words of the high-level empire, try to live, try to survive 10 days. Everyone flees separately, don't let everything I do lose meaning. Not good. Seeing Garp's soaring momentum, Sengoku felt anguish in his heart. The forbidden move for the return of life. The limit speeds up blood flow, greatly enhances strength, and will die when used up. Go. Sengoku's reason suppressed the grief, shouted, clutching Zephyr and fleeing. Plus hash. Must survive the 10 days set by Uchiha Madara. Run away crazy. Kaido said, overlooking the only remaining Garp, which is still growing rapidly. Marine hero. Needless to say, open it up directly. The light of miracles. An extremely grand and terrifying beam of light came out from the palm of the hand and directly enveloped the sky. With the power of miracles. Break all impossible. Turn life into death and destroy everything. Life taboo meteor. Garp liberated the ban on the return of life, exploded with extreme power, jumped and slammed a punch. Garp's punch. He was instantly annihilated by the light of miracle, and he himself was reduced to ashes. Garp. Seeing, smelling and perceiving that Garp's breath completely disappeared, Sengoku's black-dyed hair instantly grew longer, and his head was full of white hair. And at the same moment, boom, Mariajoy erupted into a terrifying collision, like a mushroom cloud rising from the red line. Damn Pelusalino, are you going to rebel? Listening to roar. Kizaru disdainfully said, the beautiful imperial words currently popular in the empire. Go to your mother's 5 elders, I'm Pelusalino, it's the opposite. Chapter 104. Kizaru vs 5 elders, the madness of Dover and Tezzolo. Advertisement. On Mariajoy, the long beard and bald 5 elders couldn't say a word. Although I didn't understand Kizaru's words. But it was obviously scolding them, and it was really rebellious. Don't talk, okay. Kizaru's face was full of disgust and disgust. As soon as you speak, I can smell the stench when I ran to New World. Damn Kizaru. The 2 5 elders were almost furious. When did they say that? Jin. The bald 5 elders' knife was out of its sheath again, and as soon as it appeared, it was an incredibly sharp slash, tearing the atmosphere strongly. Boom. Kizaru's figure flashed. The terrible slash directly slashed the entire Mariajoy open, and the blood of many people was stained red the abyss. Oh, it's terrible. Kizaru put on a look that I was very scared, but he said disdainfully, don't you think it's too ineffective? Just you rubbish and want to kill me. You calm down. The long-bearded 5 elders saw Mariajoy's destruction and immediately grabbed his bald head. Don't fight the dead, it's not worth it. Dead man, where is your idiot's self-confidence? Did your mother give it? Kizaru scolded again, but he was already extremely alert. 5 elders. This is what countless marines want to do the most in this life, but they dare not do it. Kizaru also wants to be refreshed. But this is Mariajoy after all. Kizaru doesn't want to capsize here. Task. Mariajoy captures 100 celestial dragons and brings them back to the Empire for public execution. This is the task Lan Yu gave to Kizaru. There is no other meaning. Just before taking Qinghai Realm, if you don't execute something, it always feels like something is missing. Punishment of pirates. Not good enough. Only the execution of celestial dragons can completely ignite the new hope of countless people all over the world. It's really going to die. I must not be careless. Kizaru is extremely alert for 5 elders. Many of Mariajoy's CPO is not weak, and it is even more difficult to capture hundreds of celestial dragons. Because 7 years ago, Conan smashed Mariajoy. As a result of celestial dragons' deaths 80%, I don't know how Murloc Tiger freed the slaves, but what Kizaru knows, Mariajoy's guard force is far stronger than before. 100. It's not always certain whether there are still 100. As soon as Kizaru came up, he gave the new Pengu city a flash kick. The body actively blocked 5 elders. From the spirit body clone, go to Mariajoy to capture celestial dragons and make a quick battle. A task. As a task. If a subordinate only knows to complete the task, it must be unqualified. As a representative of human spirit, Kizaru is full of careful thoughts. Not to mention killing a 5 elders. At least a few CP0s have to be killed, and Mariajoy will be blown up by the way. On the premise of completing the task, it will relieve a slight obstacle for the Empire. His purpose is to stop us. Longbeard ignored Huang Yuan's scolding. Mariajoy is in chaos in the perception of color, and there are many figures like Kizaru. Damn, Kizaru, you dare to judge the world government and bring the Empire powerhouse to destroy Marine, UB****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** explosion mentioned by the chief CP0 and the terrifying Kaido, who was almost taller than the red line, the bald five elders almost died of anger. Even Kaido has joined the Empire. And when did Kaido become so strong? Messed up. It's all messed up. Empire. It's not me. Forget it. I don't want to talk to trash. Kizaru squinted his eyes slightly, perceiving that the top power came quickly. In terms of breath, the real is not weaker than Admiral Alves. Seeing the visitor, Kizaru frowned slightly. CP0 commander, also the boss of the CP organization, is better than the army commander in terms of status. Five elders is the first dog leg. You must die here today. The bald five elders sternly said. Celestial dragons still have various celestial dragons shields blocking Kizaru's clone. As long as the three of them solve the yellow ape the fastest. Everything is not a problem. The three top powerhouses besieged me, and the rest went to kill my clone. Kizaru's expression is 3-pointed true and 7-pointed falsely. You guys are so terrible. Boom. In the next moment, the ground underwent a terrifying force, and it cracked directly. Under Kizaru's side eyes, the body of CP Chief Alves continued to swell, thunder and storm raged, and there was a roar that shook the sky. Roar. 100-meter-tall terrifying giant appeared in Mariajoy, roaring thunder and horrible storms in the sky. Mariajoy's shock also attracted the attention of Kaido, who was about to hunt down Sengoku and others. It's the legendary devil fruit again. Zone everyone fruit Eudemon's titan giant form. Ultimate, the legendary representative of power. The legend is wrapped in storm and thunder. It was this ability. According to legend, more than 600 years ago, the giant Elbaf ate this fruit, raising his hand to destroy the island, almost invincible. It was also at that time that the fame of Elbaf, the world's most powerful country, spread throughout the world. Letterfield couldn't help but speak. It greatly increases the strength and physique of people, and calls on the storm and thunder to turn into natural disasters and destroy all things. Elbaf. Uchiha Madara is obviously interested in this world's most powerful country. The giants there, as long as they are adults, there is no weaker than Vice Admiral, and it's okay to say that they are number one in the world. Kaido, go on. Seeing Kaido eagerly wanted to slap the Titan to death, Uchiha Madara immediately rejected it. Don't interfere with other people's tasks. Yes. Kilometer Kaido glanced at the Titan with disdain, turned around and stepped on the sea like a mountain to face Sengoku and others in pursuit. You continue to gather the marine in the first half of the Grand Line. After Madara finished speaking, she patted Izuna on the shoulder. Be careful, remember to take care of yourself, eldest brother is leaving first. Advertisement. Yep. Izuna nodded. Following Mihawk, Gui Zhao, Terumi Mei and others also left. Enter Mariajoy. Oh noisy, you are terrible. Watching the storm and thunder that cracked the sky, Kizaru was amazed by the fruit's ability. Power, thunder, and storm are perfectly combined in the fruit of the Titan. If given to a talented giant, it is enough to create a great terror. Die. The huge Yarvas slammed down with a punch, and the powerful storm and thunder began to wreak havoc before the punch. Boom. Mariajoy shook again. Everything around Pangu City turned into debris, making many celestial dragons tremble. He disappeared the moment Alves attacked. The long beard has the color of foreseeing the future, and after feeling it, he drinks. Directly above. Hearing the words of the long beard, the bald five elders slashed directly above without thinking. What? As soon as Kizaru came out of the realm of shadows, he was slashed head-on with a terrifying slash, even more armed with a tsunami-like appearance. The distance is only 1 meter. Boom. Kizaru's body was directly shattered and turned into a sky full of photon wine. Impossible. The bald five elders couldn't understand. Because of the long beard's foreseeing the future, he took the lead in attacking the past and did not give Kizaru who had just appeared any chance to react. Elemental in advance. Dream. The bald head said. I'm pretty sure that the arm slash was on Huang Yuan. You did cut it. The long beard was also surprised. There are only 2 possibilities for hacking into Kizaru's body. One is to be hacked to death on the spot, or to be seriously injured. 0. Look for flowers. After all, the newly released Kizaru didn't even have an armed color. Either way, the blood mist should go in and out. It should not be turned into an element of light. Damn Dover, damn Tezzolo, you all deserve to die. Seeing something again, the long-bearded five elders roared furiously. But seeing the figure of Kizaru in the future, the beard reminded again. Kizaru is in the sky on the right. Thunder Fist. Full Moon Tyrant Slash. Alves and Bald Head immediately attacked there, and the moment Kizaru appeared, they were again attacked by terror. Boom. Kizaru turned into photons again. Predict future. Kizaru, who was reunited in the Shadow Realm, had a headache thinking about this. If it weren't for his holy script, sublimating his sparkling fruit can make him instantly elementalized when he is subject to all fatal attacks. This is a passive skill to save lives. Otherwise he is at least injured now. Although it's a bit troublesome, but you can't let them pass. Thinking about this, Kizaru rushed out. It was once again faced with a terrorist attack and turned into a photon. This B*****************. D. Seeing Kizaru who was constantly turning into photons and blocking them, the Longbeard became angry. Yells, you killed those 2 people in the past. Damn it, all Kizaru's clones ran over to buy time for the 2. Far away, Kizaru's clones rushed one after another, attacking the 3 from all directions. Bakichang Guyu, countless light bombs illuminate the sky, turning into dozens of waves and drowning towards the 3 of them. Boom. The roar around Pangu City. It did not affect Dover and Tezzolo. Dudu, although the clone cannot stop you, with every move, at least 1 celestial dragons will be caught. Ha 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 ha, I like this task, I'm so excited to go crazy. Dover and Tezzolo, moving extremely fast, wreak havoc on Mariajoy everywhere, catching celestial dragons when they saw it. Someone blocked. Immediately send a clone to block. Block 1 more second, and they can catch a few crap like celestial dragons. Then throw it into the Naling ring. Ignore some celestial dragons elite, complete the task first. The 2 even frantically ignored the attack, and even if they were injured, they would take celestial dragons away. I am 49. I am 51. When the two met, although there were still injuries on his body, his eyes were full of crazy excitement talking about the number of celestial dragons in the Naling Ring. 100. Mission complete. Dover and Tezzolo were so excited, they even ignored them when they were surrounded by a group of strong men with nowhere to escape. Do. Now that the mission is complete, let the Holy Land witness my madness. All the surrounding objects turned into silk threads, and Dover directly started awakening. Ha. Damn be asterisk, feel my anger. The large objects turn into gold, and Tezzolo's awakening is full of magnificence. The mission is complete. The Avatar confused the Longbeard's ability to predict the future, making him unable to judge the main body, and Kizaru heard the two laugh. It's crazy enough to not want to leave after the mission is completed. His hatred turned into strength. Kizaru's body also put away a smile, showing a rare seriousness. So, who of you is going to die? Not good. The long-bearded five elders seemed to see the horrible picture, and suddenly pulled his bald head back in shock. Boom. Kizaru's body completely exploded. Countless photons swayed the sky, and the surrounding lights began to condense towards him. Holy text. Open. Destroy it. Mariajoy. Chapter 105. The Giant of Light shook the world, Mariajoy destroyed again. Advertisement. Armed wild waves white line. Tens of thousands of armed, pitch-black silk threads, presenting waves of raging attacks. Wherever it went, a piece of collapse. Awakening gold karma fire. Tezzolo awakened, and the surrounding sea wave turned into gold constantly swept through his body. Turned into a huge golden giant. Boom. The fist of the golden giant was armored, and the effect of the molten gold was hit, and the thermal radiation produced by the explosion illuminated the entire Mariajoy. All the buildings below collapsed, and there were countless casualties. Damn, you guys. Those celestial dragons guards, as well as some celestial dragons shield CPO, were furious. The two of them didn't know where to put some celestial dragons, and they didn't run away after catching them, destroying Mariajoy crazily. It's lawless. Do. Come on, isn't CP0 very strong? Come and kill me. Doflamingo laughed, eyes full of bloodthirsty hatred. He once vowed to turn the world dominated by celestial dragons upside down and trample all celestial dragons under his feet. Stop talking nonsense with them, I will destroy it all. Tezzolo is even more crazy. Don't do any defense at all, ignore those CPU attacks, and constantly zoom in on Mariajoy. The more painful the body, the more he can remember the past resentment and turn hatred into strength. Today is an opportunity. Golden sacred fire, ever white. Tezzolo and Dover were completely mad, putting on a posture of, April 1, 3, and would rather destroy this place, completely desperately destroying everywhere. Ticket. Under siege. Dover and Tezzolo flew out upside down, but what made the CP0 palpitations was. The two were injured and spit out blood. Continue to get up and ignore them, running around, destroying everything with extreme craziness. Armed huge wave white line. Awakening golden punishment. It is the monstrous white line of the ocean waves, and the terrifying wave of gold, destroying while running. Are they crazy? The two are like the Xiaoqiang of immune to death. Every time they are hit hard, they can stand up and continue to destroy. Dover and Tezzolo will vent all the anger that has been suppressed for years. Buzz. At this moment, the whole Mariajoy is lit up, and there are dazzling golden lights everywhere, making it difficult to even open the eyes. Puff, cough, so heavy light. Dover, who was seriously injured and crazy, vomited blood, looked around in a daze, but was completely shrouded in light. The vast expanse of gold is too dazzling. Who is it? What about celestial dragons? Tezzolo was more injured, and it was a bit difficult to move under this kind of light that seemed to be blessed by gravity. Ah, it's so bright. That is, red line. Wow, the second sun. What? At this moment, half of the world is shocked. It was a huge ball of light that completely enveloped Mariajoy on the red line. The diameter of the light group is thousands of meters. Most importantly, it's too bright. The radiant range of the light is even more difficult to estimate. A piece of golden light is shining. The first half of the grand line is close to the islands on the half of the red line. New World is close to half of the islands of the red line. There are also 4 continents, near the edge of the red line. It can be said, the light blooming on Mariajoy caused countless people's consternation. If it weren't for the world of Qinghai to be a planet, it would be round. A scene can be seen by half of the world at most, and that scene is enough to shock the world. It seems that he hasn't let go of cultivation in the past 7 years. Lan Yu, who was far away in Kitashu, looked a little weird when he thought of the holy characters of Kizaru. Next moment, as if it was constantly absorbing something, the light cluster was a bit bigger and attracting attention. Boom. The bald 5 elders slashed with the knife, but didn't split anything. Very dense photons gather here, wherever they are split, they will condense. What do you see? The sight and smell couldn't capture Kizaru's breath at all, and his bald head frowned. It's too dazzling, he can only see. I saw the endless light of light. No, I don't believe it. The longer the beard said, the more incredible the face. He couldn't understand how Kizaru's so-called sparkling fruit could achieve the scene where he predicted the future, and awakening would not work either. Don't you believe in light? Huang Yuan's voice oscillated with endless photons, causing the waste celestial dragons left on Mariajoy to burst the eardrums on the spot. Hole, what are you doing? Get out of it. The bald head slashed again and again. Seeing something again, the Longbeard shouted, "Go back, go back." Boom. Under the attention of countless people in the small half of the world, the terrifying light on Mariajoy suddenly turned into a skylight beam. Directly toward the sky, the light ball burst in the sky, swept toward the smaller half of the world, and spread quickly. Ah, something came out of me. On the edge of the eastern state, little Zoro from Shimotsuki village exclaimed. He felt a flash of light in the sky. Then I saw a white light flying out of my body. Not only him, but even Koshiro, and many students have light flying out of their bodies. Sister, are we all right? On the edge of North State, Sugar looked at herself and Monet worriedly. Light flew out from both of them. Nanjo, West State. Close to all parts of the sky in Mariajoy. The first half of the Grand Line. And New World, New World. In the radiation zone of the light ball burst by the sky, there are many people flying out of the light ball. Countless people looked up. Light groups from all over the world flew towards the sky of Mariajoy. This scene. Advertisement. Countless people were stunned. The ability to radiate the world in the form of light, and take away the light in people's hearts. Use this to gain the power of terror. I have to say that the holy script of Kizaru's awakening is amazing. Although Lan Yu said so, his expression became even more weird, gathering the light in people's hearts to become stronger. This ability is very similar to Muka, the giant of light. Kizaru's voice exploded with the photon again and finally took shape. Hiss. At this moment, countless people took a breath. When countless rays of light converge, a huge pale golden giant phantom that stretched over tens of thousands of meters shrouded Mariajoy, covering the sky and the sun. And Mariajoy. Everyone was sluggish. Even the CP0 chief Yarvis, the titan giant of the Eudemon species, is looking up. Guru. Alves stared wide. The terrifying phantom stood on the red line, almost breaking through the sky. That's fake. 5 elders with a long beard said with great certainty. It is only a phantom that will break through the sky. His real body is very small. Yes, it's only about 200 meters. The bald head nodded immediately and let out a sigh of relief. This phantom seemed to shook the world incomparably huge, but within the phantom, there was only a physical giant of about 200 meters. The ghost of light. Obviously, it is refracted by the projection of light, resulting in an incredible height. Ah, after doing it for a long time, did you just make a huge target? Bald 5 elders was quite disdainful. He just thought it was a terrible horror just now, but this is the result? Don't you believe in light? Kizaru, who has turned into a giant of light, speaks like thunder. The so-called giant of light is a materialization completely condensed by light, not a giant who fights monsters in a certain world. The bald head was disdainful again. It's ridiculous. It's nothing more than the awakening of sparkling fruit, a giant that uses light to condense. Oh noisy, you not only don't believe in light, you even look down on light, you are so terrible. Between Kizaru's mouth, the long-bearded 5 elders shouted, "Go back. Go back. Alves, stop him." What did you see? The bald head wanted to ask, but the perennial trust still subconsciously retreated 0. Yes, Lord 5 elders. The CP0 chief who turned into a titan giant burst into a big move without even thinking about it. Fist of Thunderstorm. The fruit of the titan giant allowed Alves power to reach the limit he could bear, and blasted the giant of light with the storm and thunder. By the light I mean, no matter how terrifying darkness people face, they must believe that the light is about to appear in their hearts, which will give birth to the light of perseverance and faith that will never give up. You will not understand the power of light. Facing the storm and thunder, Kizaru slowly raised his hands, crossing the dangerous light. Me who gathers countless lights. Only a holy place that destroys darkness can be worthy of the light in people's hearts. Hey, a terrifying beam of light illuminating the sky came from the crossed palms of the giant of light. Bright. Judgment. Boom. The power of adjudication that gathered the light in the hearts of countless people destroyed the attack of the CP0 chief. Unabated prestige. The bright beam directly smashed his titan drive and all the spirit of faith. CP0 total length. Death. Boom. When the light smashes the length of the CPO. Falling on the ground of Mariajoy, there was a roar of terror like a nuclear explosion. The grand tide of light set off a terrifying wind that tore everything, and instantly destroyed all the buildings in Mariajoy. Countless cracks are all over the Holy Land. Smash the darkness with light. Bright. Trial. Kizaru did not stand still, and the giant of light he transformed released all the concentrated light. The power of light. Go ahead. Boom. The horror roar resounded again, and countless people heard the sound that shocked the soul. The sacred place disappeared one by one. Turn this into a land of purgatory. Boom. The endless light finally showed its horror, directly causing the red line area where Mariajoy was to begin to collapse. Haway, haway. The giant of light dissipated, and Kizaru flew down on a gravel in the distance, gasping for breath. Almost. I died. Just after absorbing the light in the hearts of many people, Kizaru almost broke down. Holy text. Giant of light. As long as there is light, any fatal attack will photon the body and soul to save lives. 2. Release the light of giants, radiate in a large area, absorb the light of faith in the hearts of the life body that is shrouded, and obtain the power of absolute light. 5.93. If you are killed by absolute power, you can be resurrected from the endless light by being called by your real name. Congratulations, Your Majesty, the undead skill is increased by 1. Almost died because of being too strong, I should be the first person. A series of blood arrows came from Kizaru's body, which was caused by just absorbing too much light and making the body unable to hold it. That's why Kizaru is anxious to release all the power of light. Otherwise, he was really blown up. Simply put, Kizaru's holy text is the ability to save life and absorb light to increase power. You almost killed me, and I. Dover and Tezzolo came out of the realm of shadows with ugly faces. The light that just broke out was terrifying. They almost died when they wiped it, but fortunately they hid in the shadow space in time. You must always believe in the light. Isn't this dead? Kizaru doesn't care, and is quite content. Not only did we complete the task, we also destroyed the Holy Land in excess. Even if 5 elders is not dead, but the CP0 chief and many strong people must have died. This is a great achievement, so please be happy. No. Not good. Suddenly aware of the crisis, Kizaru broke out with his last remaining energy, grabbing Dover in one hand and Tezzolo in the other. Not waiting for Huang Yuan to fly, ushered in a terrorist attack. At the same time, a figure stood in front of him instantly and raised his hand. Boom.